and economical landscape in the motherland. There is one platform that is authentic, they always count on. Spoon Talk, the beacon of hope, the fountain of authentic information for this dispensation and dispensations to come. Join the team of panelists Mondays through Saturdays, 8 p.m. locally, 4 Eastern Time, and other timings across the world. Tune into our radio services, Spoon 107.5, Fabric 101.1, and Super 95.5. We can also be reached on social media through Facebook or YouTube on Spoon TV, Fabric TV, and Super TV Live. Locally tune in to Super TV Channel 10. Spoon Talk, Spoon Talk, Spoon Talk, setting Liberia's agenda for national growth.
Yes, a special one from the CEOs, then coming with the spoon. And your boy, Friday the Southern Band. Charges on the beat.
To the spoon to get your information. To the spoon to be part of our discussion. Spoon, spoon, spoon television. Spoon, spoon, spoon radio.
Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Monrovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon you will know. If the children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening in Moravia, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what happening in the ministry, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You from Vonjema, Maryland, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. If you eat congratulate my brother, to spoon. You got a Spoon TV, you got a Spoon Radio, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon.
You wanna get a news update, to spoon.
What? Yeah, Rastafari. Kilibamba. What I want? Yes, what you got today?
Spoon TV.
Yes, what you got today?
Spoon TV. Spoon
Ba. Skibidi dabado.
Spoon TV. Spoon Entertainment.
Kua. Bese kua, go to there.
A special one from the CEOs, then coming with the spoon. And your boy, Friday the Southern Band. Charges on the beat.
To the spoon to get your information. To the spoon to be part of our discussion. Spoon television. Spoon radio station.
Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Monrovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon you will know. If the children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening in Moravia, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what happened in the ministry to spoon? To spoon. To spoon. You from Vanjama, Maryland, to spoon. To spoon. If you eat keep on graduate, my brother, to spoon. You got a spoon TV, you got a
From the CEOs, Dan coming with the spoon. And your boy, Friday the Southern Man. Charges on the beat.
To the spoon to get your information. To the spoon to be part of my discussion. Spoon, spoon, spoon television. Spoon, spoon, spoon radio station.
Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Morovia.
Monrovia,
Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa.
Africa.
Just to spoon you will know. If the children crying for
It's yet another day of blessed way to welcome you to another fascinating time of discussion.
my brother
This is the beacon of hope, the fountain of beautiful broadcasting for this dispensation and dispensations to come.
to spoon.
Get glued to your radio. Call a friend to tell a friend that indeed Spoon Talk is here. Spoon Talk is there. Spoon Talk is everywhere. On all of our platforms. Spoon 107.5, 101.1, Super 95.5, Super TV Channel 10, and Spoon TV Live. Winston Churchill says in our quote, the best argument against democracy is a 5-minute conversation with the average voters. My name is Rufus Divine Cannon, your sound coordinator for tonight's presentation. Without much I do, the CEO and the rest of the team be joining shortly. James Good Floman is on the other end. And I'd love to say good evening, James, and how you doing?
Good evening, Rufus. I'm okay. How you doing?
I'm pretty good by the special grace.
Is you okay? You were muted, Chief.
No, I'm not. I'm good. I'm good. Can you hear me?
Okay,
Great.
you good?
Hearing
Yeah,
So,
100%.
but Rufus, what is
You
stuff
great.
1 to 3? What is stuff 1 to 3 about Rufus? You hire 10%?
No,
Well, I like it 1 to 3 bucks, Rufus.
it there. I can give you all of the list.
we're discussing the buy, right?
Yeah. If you want to discuss it, yes, we can discuss it. Yeah.
They think 1 to 3 bucks. If you say rest that guy in the country, they ain't carry anything to 3 bucks.
We can discuss it, yes, sir. I got it.
I said
I'm
that rest
going to
business,
list.
we happy. We're destined now for that rest.
But you're not in the country to eat, right? How you be happy again?
Hey, I got plenty of people in
Rufus.
the country that are waiting for rest.
Hmm?
Rest that count.
Baza Menzi in you.
Hey,
Rest in the country.
Papa, not bring rest.
And the small things ain't out there, so.
I just like how the people run
No,
it.
this was, yeah, I can't be cool. I know you said today, but I can't be cool.
Eh? No, nothing.
Rufus, I
You
said, I
say
know
what
you
it?
said today, but I can't be cool. I heard that. I heard what you said, Rufus. Don't swear. Trust me. I get good hearing, bro. Red I can. But what it matters to buy rest?
So when they say chile, what chile means?
I mean, like my man, we flowing. Don't worry about my own thought. And you get your street on there.
Tell me easy. Easy.
Oh,
But on a very serious note, we're glad to be having the NPP people in the house, and I can announce to everyone, Madam Jua Howard Taylor will be our guest on Wednesday, the Vice President of the Republic of Liberia. She will be speaking on the NPP issue on Wednesday. I can announce this. Please set the date. The Madam herself, Jua Howard Taylor, will be our guest on Wednesday. Today we have Mr. Emmanuel, Mr. Andrew Peters, and Mr. Emmanuel Lomax. But before we get to them, folks, James, Show the ship that brought the rice.
Yeah.
Yeah, rice not come. Show
Oh
everything.
yeah, rest in time.
Rest in time.
Rest down, show face.
The information we're about to share with you is very important. As you can see on our page, and we'll show
Rest
this
down,
again.
show face.
Alas. This ship came from Ivory Coast. This ship came from Ivory Coast, and as you can see, rest in time, man. We need to speak about how many metric tons. If you do the math, it will be 920,000 bags of rice. Some people saying it's not enough. Some people saying it's something. This morning, the ship couldn't come through because, again, the water tide was very low. So they had to wait 6 o'clock p.m. The ship came through. It's docked at the port, as you can see. We can say this to everyone, and we announce this again. SWAT brought this ship in from Ivory Coast. SWAT brought this ship in from Ivory Coast with 23,000 metric tons. 23,000 metric tons. If you do the math, 23,000 times 40, it will be 920,000 bags of rice. So we can announce the country, after so long, the ups and downs, the argument. Mawani Dees, the government of Liberia finally brought in this rice. You see the ship Kenstar. Kenstar is from Ivory Coast. SWAT went out. They brought in the rice, 23,000 metric tons. And we have the document. James, can you pull up the document, please?
Yep.
We have all the documents of this shipment, 920,000 bags of rice. The government is so firm. The government is saying, please sell the rice at the rate that we agreed on. We'll do everything possible to give you some of your money. We want to say to you, thank God. You can say whoever brought the rice SWAT, but it's a good thing that this the manifest. We have the manifest. The rest came from one port to another. The last stop before Liberia was Ivory Coast. You remember we showed you this ship a few months ago. These are the document cargo manifest. James, you didn't do a good job. You got to put spoon on this thing. You allow people be running out of information. Put the second one back up, James. The cargo manifest. All right. The cargo manifest when it left the original port, the various stop and everything it coming with. We can announce to you, the government of Liberia, folks. Joma Jala, now you can eat rice if you're in Liberia. Larry Watkins, go and buy your rice. Lewis, go and buy your rice. Buy rice for your family and friends. They would be discharging the rice of the ship starting tomorrow. That's the information we receive. All right. So we need this information. We need you to understand Spoon Talk is on. We told you we'll be behind the government till we make sure that the rest come in the country. And the rest should have been in since this morning. But because of the low tide, the vessel lost high tide, which means that the water level was very low. Therefore, the water level has improved and the ship is at the port. All right. This is what we're talking about. We beat on the government. We said no protest. We said to you, be patient. Again, we give the government the time. Here you go, Kenstar. Kenstar is in the country. They brought in the rice. And just believe it, that ship got 920,000 bags of rice. 23,000 metric tons. All right. You see the manifest and you see the rest of it. And I would just say to you, man, somebody would beat them. Listen, I'll say this to you. And we hope that Mawani Diggs is listening. We beat on her, and it is why it is. She deserved the beating. We'll make her to do double, work extra, and now the rest is in the country. So let's just go ahead and have a wonderful show. But before we do, before we bring in our guest for tonight, um, Kev Hassan, we're going to be sliding the picture. You have anything to say? I want the folks to put the ship picture up. Let the people know that the rest is at the port, please. Kefiko, talk to us.
Yeah, well, some of us been talking since last week that rice will be here in days, and so rice is here, and we told the people that the government working hard day and night for rice to be here, and now we finally got 23,000 metric tons of rice, and from all information, more rice coming, more rice will come. This is not the last ship, so more rice on the way coming. So we will have enough rice that what happened will not happen in the near future, will not happen again. So the government is working hard day and night, so Liberia will not be all over looking for rice. And two, I want people should know we have the cheapest rice, cheapest in our region, the cheapest, $13, cheapest. And due to the government, because the government is taking money and off the budget and paying rice. You know, other countries sell it $18, but the government is paying that money that you will not take that money from your pocket and pay. So some of the reason we have some problem there is because of our neighbors do sell and rice so high, and they come to Liberia, buy our rice, take it out of the country. But the government is doing well. The government going to do more to secure our rice in our country, that we'll not get back to that days that we'll see our people on the line, standing online for rice. But kudos to the government, and some of us, because of proximity, we knew that the government was working day and night so hard. So Liberia, the rice is in town.
Thank you, Kev. Listen, for those of you that just joined us, we're going to be discussing NPP. I think Ben just came in. Chairman Ben, you got to weigh in on this one. There's a ship at the port, 920,000 bag of rice, 23,000 metric tons. You gotta weigh in on this, man. After 2 weeks of fierce battle from the press, from you, myself, and the rest of the team, beating on President George Manneh, we are beating on Mawani Diggs, beating on the government. We got 920,000 bags of rice at the port.
And it's over, right? So that's it?
It ain't over yet. I would not
okay.
say it's over.
No, that's why I was asking, because I first of all, it's good news, because the people of our country, the folks who have been yearning for rice, there is a little bit of breather. But I think we as a nation and the government needs to begin the process of addressing things from a holistic standpoint, so that we don't have to go through this again. I don't know how, that's why they're the expert. They're experts there. But it's good news to see the ship finally at the port. I just hope and pray that we begin the process of solving this of dealing with this. That another 6 months, another year from now, we won't have to go through this whole thing all over again. But I can't say it's not good news. It is good news. It is good news for the people who have been struggling. I'm not necessarily going to be giving no pat on no back to any minister or anybody, because at the end of the day, we should not have been in this position in the first place. But it's good news for those people, our mothers, our brothers and sisters, our fathers who have been jumping over fences and standing online and you know and just being humiliated, all because they were trying to buy a bag of rice or a couple of bags of rice. So hopefully, you know, again, like I always like to say, the leader is leader. I mean, leadership is leadership. President Weah is the president of the country. He's the head of the government. He will determine on how he wants to run his government. If this is something that he wants to happen again, then we'll have it. We'll have it again. If it's something that he doesn't want to happen again, I believe he should be demanding more from his officials and figuring out how we can finally begin to put a stamp on trying to deal with this issue, whatever that solution will be. You know, whatever that position would be, they need to make a determination on moving forward so that we don't have to deal with this again. Because it was not a pretty scene to see our people going through the things that they went through over the last couple of days, over the last couple of weeks.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you very much. Folks, we'll discuss further on the rest issue, and we have some information to give you. When will be the next ship, when the next ship will be coming to the country. And we're going to talk about the borders, Liberian borders. Is it true that folks are buying the rice in the thousand and taking the rice to Sierra Leone, to Guinea? We'll discuss that. So be patient. We'll come back to discuss further. But the news is that the rice is in the country, 920,000 bags, which equivalent to 23,000 metric tons. The rest in the country, the rest in the country, the rest in the country. It was brought in today, as you can see. We'll be discussing further. You know, when the papa coming home, mama coming home, the children happy. So it's a good town, good day. I'm going to pause for a minute because I want to say, you know why. We still keep the president, Mawani Diggs, the government feet to the fire, because I think they can do more. They can do more. So we still push them to do more. And this is what we ask for. When you talk about free press, when you talk about being there for the people and speaking for the people, we give them no rights. Thanks to everyone that participated in this conversation. Thank you, guys. All right, let's bring in our folks for today, our guests. We bring in Mr. Andrew Peters and Emmanuel Lomax. Emmanuel Lomax and Andrew Peters. Are we forgetting somebody? Who first? Emmanuel, is he on?
The two of them are here. Mr. Lomas is being processed, but
Okay.
Mr. Andrew Peters is already set.
All right. So you followed the show yesterday. I want to say to you, let's wait for Mr. Lomax and we'll bring them in the same time, but they will be our guests for tonight. They are from NPP. Yesterday we had the Chief Cyril Allen. Cyril Allen, he went through the NPP history and the situation at NPP. We're going to play some of the clips for you to understand where we are. Then we're going to ask this gentleman question. The Secretary General, Andrew Peters, and Mr. Emmanuel Lomax will be speaking to them. While they get Mr. Lomax ready, Kev Hassan, your takeaway from yesterday's show and what you expect today. Then we'll bring in Chairman Ben. Then we'll go ahead.
Well, listening to Cyril Allen, I think he do have knowledge about the NPP, what's going on. There's no, and he had the side of the other side, the other story. So at this moment, I just want to get the two sides, and I just listened to him yesterday about the MPP, but I still want to listen to the other side of the vice president. So at this moment, I don't have anything that I can just say right now within the NPP. But I don't have enough, information yet. So I'm willing to just listen to the other side of it.
Chairman, thank you, Kev.
Yeah, good. Yes, I did listen to the show, not live, but I went back and listened. It was an interesting interaction yesterday with the Honorable Cyril Allen, Chief Cyril Allen. Um, he expanded on a lot of things, from the MPP issue to national governance, to his thoughts on the politics of the day in our country. And I thought it was a great interview you guys carried out yesterday. I think he said a lot. You may not agree with everything that he said, but one thing Cyril Allen is not shy of is his ability to speak what he believes and what his mind is, and everybody is entitled to their respective opinions. On the issue of the MPP, I think what happened over the weekend is not something that I think everybody. I don't think anybody, even within the MPP, was happy to the level of which things degenerated. In a sense where you had violence, and I believe someone lost their life. I understand he fell off or something like that. I don't and he's a strong partisan. Our heart goes out to his family. But I think tonight we have an opportunity to listen, to have a balanced conversation, right? Because you do have two people from the two different sides currently in the misunderstanding. I like to call it misunderstanding because I think they are of the same party. Hopefully, we'll get some clarity tonight, and we'll be able to form some informed opinions, and be able to figure out what happened, what is the way forward, and ultimately where the MPP is going to be, headed. I do know, and I want to borrow something that Chief Cyril Allen said, is that MPP, like them or hate them, the MPP is a political institution that is well grounded across the country. It's a mass-based political institution, and so when these things are, when these things when these things happen, sometimes you get a chance where you clearly, there is clarity that needs to be given, and so I'm looking forward to hearing from two people who I think have a great deal of knowledge and expertise when it comes to the MPP. Manuel Lomax, I know, is a strong founding member of the MPP, so he has a lot of experience also. And Andrew Peters, I do believe, have some real experience when it comes to the MPP. So I'm looking forward to asking some questions tonight and getting to the bottom of this, and in the interest of our audience. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Chairman. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Let's bring in Mr. Andrew Peters and Mr. Emmanuel Lomax. Let's bring them in and discuss NPP. Mr. Peters, can you come closer? And Rufus, can we do some adjustment to the camera? Mr. Peters seemed to be far away from the microphone, but welcome to Spoon Talk, Mr. Peters. Welcome, Mr. Lomax. It's good to have you as always. We hope this will not be your first time. You have visited Auto Network, and it's good to have you on Spoon. We are going to discuss today, the issue, what's going on with NPP, your convention and your, primary convention, special convention, different terms and different names folks coordinate. But we want to say to you, thank you, and our audience will be blessed as you explain to us what's going on with NPP. The party that most Liberians after the war came to know, the party that won the first round, landslide victory to the ex-president Charles Ganga Taylor, the party that folks think that the party should be one of the best party out there. When you talk about unity, the party that sent a Kennedy, a VP, John, President George Manners, we are now the ruling party today. Joy Howard Taylor as standard bearer. Now she's served the country as a vice president. This party have history. So what's going on today? We reached out to Mr. Andrew Peters. Then we decided to bring in Mr. Emmanuel Lomax that we all can have a very, very good conversation. So Mr. Peters, you go first. Then we'll go to Mr. Lomax.
Well, thank you. Firstly, I want to appreciate the management team of Spoon Talk for such a beautiful studio. This is my first time coming here. I must express my appreciation to you guys. You did very well. Now, we'll proceed to the issue within the NPP. And I would like to lay the basis of what led to this conflict so that the listening audience will know exactly what unfolded at the NPP convention. Our party is a legal entity registered under the Liberian law.
Before you get into that, can you do your little intro that we can give Mr. Lomax the chance to introduce himself and his title? Then we'll come back to you to tell us about NPP. Your name, your position in the party, how long have you been around this party? Just a little intro, please.
Well, my name is Andrew Spear. I'm the current Secretary General of the party. I'm a founding member of the party in Riverside County. I firstly served as District Youth Chair for the NPP Organizing Committee under the chairmanship of Daniel Graceway, later on the late George Yvonne Smith. I was elected as District Coordinator, then Constituency Coordinator, and County Chairman of the party in Riverside. Also elected as Assistant Secretary General for Administration. My late boss, who was then the Secretary General, John Wavy Pass, I completed his tenure. I was also elected in Basel as Secretary General, begin my first tenure. So I have served more than half of my age that I spent on earth in the NPP.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Mr. Andrews Peters. Let me bring in Mr. Lomax. Mr. Lomax, thank you again. Welcome to Spoon.
Thank you. I'd like to join my colleague Andrew Peters to congratulate the management for this very wonderful work. I'm Emmanuel A. Lomax, a founding member of the National Patriotic Party. As a matter of fact, when you see the NPP, you look at some names like the late Thomas Demlet, the late Peter Farm, the late Christian Herbert, the late Francis Galloway, all of us started this process as far as 1991. So in terms of what we do, having a clearer understanding of the activities of the NPP, I think we are well situated to be in such a position. I am currently the chairman elected for the Elections Commission that conducted a very, very, very robust, well thorough elections that retired the former leadership of the party and brought in Stanley Barclay. So indeed, I'm pleased to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lomax. As you know, I'm joined by Chairman Ben Service and Tumani George. Our brother Sintumani George is now on, but Chairman Ben Servi, Kev Hassan Tumani is not too well. What we got on the show, he just texted me. We wish him well. Dr. Richardson is on her way home from a program. Mariah Yakuda probably going to be joining us today. And Dr. P. Bader will be joining us as well. So let's just have a wonderful program. We will go ahead and give you sufficient time to answer the question, to speak on the issue. You followed the story yesterday with Chief Cyril Allen, and we had a wonderful time with him. So to you, Mr. Peters, talk to us now. What are we having this kind of discussion when we talk about NPP, confusion, fragmentation. Somebody died the past week at the convention center. One of your own partisans passed away, and issue with the standard bearer and the chairman disagreement. So can you please speak as a Secretary General? Where are we?
Well, thank you. As I indicated earlier, I would like to give the history of this confusion before the convention, Friday convention, so that you actually get a clearer picture and make a clear determination as to who is in the wrong or who contributed towards this conflict. If I'm permitted to do so, then I begin with my statement. You know that the NPP is a legal entity registered under the Liberian law. It has its constitutions and bylaw. As corporate governance, they have structures that have various functions. Under the NPP bylaws and constitution, the national chairman of the party is the convener of all legal sections, including conventions of the party. The standard bearer is the party agent in national government. So we see the role structure of the National Executive Committee in our 2004 Constitution. The standard bearer is an ex-official and non-voting member of the NEC. Within the functionary of the standard bearer, she represents the party in national government and report to the National Executive Committee on all activities in government and consult the National Executive Committee before further action if you were president. In this case, she's a vice president. Implement the party policies in government. So she's not an administrator of the party. The administrator of the party is the national chairman of the party, and the Secretary General he runs the day-to-day activity of the party, minister and manage all employees at the headquarters of the party, counties, and district. In 2020, because our constitution provides that every 2 years there must be a annual convention, either to have elections for officers who election may be due, or to deal with strategic issues and formulate new policy for the party. In 2020, June, the National Executive Committee, under the chairmanship of Jean Barney, instructed me as Secretary General that there's a need for us to host an executive committee meeting, and that you as Secretary General brief the party on the activities of the party. Because it is the responsibility of the Secretary General as Chief Office Administrator to run the day-to-day activity of the party and brief the Executive Committee on activities of the party. We gave citation for that meeting. It was during the coronavirus time. We gave citation for that meeting. But look at the huge size of the NPP Executive Committee. 55 persons could not be hosted in our conference hall. So we decided to use the Corona Hall. We rented and paid for it. Citation was spread about. Our standard bearer, with our own reason that I cannot explain here, decided that she would not be part of that executive committee for the fact that we not using the party headquarters. And the chairman provided a reason that it was not possible for 55 persons to jam up in one small conference room for the purpose of just a national executive committee meeting. But let go at that place. While we were proceeding for the meeting, she left and went to the party headquarters and presided over another meeting she termed as National Executive Committee meeting. We held our meeting and make our submission to the National Elections Commission for my report that 2020 December, second Saturday, we have to hold our convention to elect officers who tend to maybe deal with strategic issues in the interest of the party development process. The Standard Bearer also submitted another report to Elections Commission, so that caused an embarrassment situation for the commission. It's about Standard Bearer doesn't run party, but what's happening? We sat with her and advised her, Madam, you can't do this. You have a specific function in the Constitution. She said, I'm not going to do that. She constituted her own convention coordinating committee like what she did yesterday. I set up various committees for the convention. So we have no alternative but to seek a judgment from the civil law court to grant our right as an administrator to run a party. The guy she referred to today that she appointed was her lawyer. We went to the hearing after several days of legal debate. The civil law court ruled. And I got a ruling here, I'll leave it here for your deliberations. It was clear that by the Standard Bearer, by this constitution, you have nothing to do with the running of the party. Absolutely not. So you cannot usurp the functions of the officials of the party. Your position as officials of the National Executive Committee is to work in national government, seek the party interest in national government, and report back to the Executive Committee. So you are in the wrong. The Standard Bearer, through Packlin, announced an appeal and went to the Supreme Court. Later, we have some deliberation and see how best we could solve these problems. We put some formula together. But it was difficult to solve because actually the Standard Bearer really wanted a control of the party. And it's such a political entity where men and women are situated with like-minded people, independent people, a political party that they contributed their strength, their effort for almost 30, some 25 years, some 30 years, some 20 years, for you to just come and absolutely have control was a difficult thing. So that thought also failed. She had one plateau in her office, other administrative assistant or some kind of positions. Yeah. I decided to file a 6-count petition at the National Elections Commission against the leadership. One of the counts was Chairman Banning tenure have expired, and he could not be a candidate and be a presiding officer of the party. That's what the constitution of the party says. The chairman is the presiding officer of all legal forum of the party. The hearing officer ruled otherwise and said that there should be an interim convention coordinating committee, and not just ruling, but appointing one young Dweb Mokoman to head that committee. The leadership took an exception to that decision to the board. The board make some adjustment and said, "No, you cannot make appointment because you are not in the NPP and not a member of the NPP. You cannot decide for the NPP." But what we want to happen is that each side will bring 3 persons so that they will form a convention coordinating committee to go for election. We challenged that was illegal and a violation of our constitution. So we proceeded at the Supreme Court. In the Supreme Court ruling, of which I will also leave a copy here, was clear that Madam Standard Bearer, you have nothing to do with political party. You are in a position of a candidate position. You can run the party. So, and dismiss all of the ruling of the National Elections Commission and order the National Elections Commission to allow the NPP to proceed to its convention. It also ordered the civil law court to reaffirm the civil law court decision and order the civil law court to implement its decision so that Chairman Jim B. Banning will take the party to convention and announce 45 days that we should take the party to convention. We agree because our determination is to lead the party in the best way possible. We held a National Executive Committee meeting after the court ruling and reaffirm our decision to proceed to the convention if with a delegate of 301, since indeed we have not been able to receive the funding has been earlier promised in BISA during the November 30 BISA meeting, because we have a provision that if we cannot raise the 100,000 budget of the 638, in 3 weeks' time, we have to revise to 301 that were early agreed on November 2nd, National Executive Committee meeting. In September 4th Executive Committee meeting at the party headquarters, the minutes was read, corrections were made, and adopted as a form part of our ACAD, thus approving that within the period of 3 weeks, if we can have that money in our party account, then we cannot keep all the 638 delegates, and we revise to 301. That decision was made. We requested the standard bearer to place the money in the party account. She have a lot of issues. She want Murray P to be mandatory signatory to the account. She doesn't trust the leadership, attacking people, character, all sort of things. So we said, Madam, the party has the law. On 13.5, on 5.13 of our constitution, the national treasurer of the party is the chief disbursing officer of the party, not any other person. And you cannot say the party leadership must assemble 638 delegates when in fact the resources not available in the party account. So we tussle over the thing up to 8 days to the election. So the administrative leadership of the party, headed by the chairman, met and said, look, this thing is bringing a disgrace to the party. We have to make a determination. So we made those determinations that, look, we have reverted to 301 delegates. And I notified all of the concerned parties in the county chairperson, the auxiliary heads, all of them have the information by email, radio announcement, communication to them. The standard bearer, after that pronouncement, took $4 million Liberian dollar and decided to disburse sin in the county, leaving the entire structure of the party and using Murray P, who she claimed is the controller, to disburse the money. She sent for me in the morning. I went there. I told her, Madam, this is not fine. We cannot subscribe to this. It's a violation of our constitution. You have to put the money in the party account so that we expand the money and give proper accountability. She said, do otherwise. And I said, we have reached to that point, 301 delegates, but you need to stop what you are doing. The standard bearer vehemently opposed to all of the recommendations, signals that we gave her, but she decided to do everything by herself. So we notified the National Elections Commission, did all what we could do in line with political party regulations as it relates to conventions. Sin was approved, and we set a date, October 7th of that convention date. We went at the convention hall. There was a peaceful assembly. The police, the PV security that were present on the scene would attest to that. There were no confusion at that place. In less than an hour, we saw 3 buses loaded with people she believed to be additional delegates that she sent for. At the time, we have concluded accreditation. And the rules at the gate were, you must present your accreditation card before you enter the convention hall. She decided, gave her instruction that they should break into the gate and move in, so that when they said, look, Madam Standard Bearer, this is not a government program. This is a political party program, and we'll be liable for what happened here. We have made our determination, the National Executive Committee, delegates have been accredited, the in. If there's issues you wanted to discuss, we can. Chief Ali came and advised her. She said it will not happen. And unfortunately for me, while I was standing to the gate, asking those guys, informing the gentleman, let the people come in with a chair, the standard bearer ordered the state security. As I was speaking with you here, I'm not well because I was beaten badly by her. The videos are here. I think I've seen the video here. She ordered men and said, you get the men from out of the gate. You treat him as much you're able to treat him. The guy jumped on me and started beating me. They broke into the fence. When they entered the convention hall, this guy that passed away have gone in and sat down in the convention hall to participate. You know, he came from the hospital, say 1 month ago. Matt Kishen, who she had as one of the guys, broke into the glass door. Everybody started going helter scatter in the hall. The house this guy, because he had a heart attack before. The guy was unconscious. They took him outside. Before they reached the hospital, he passed. So that lasted for almost 1 hour plus, the confusion in the hall. And the police came, they talked to us. We said, look, we are not doing anything. We are performing a legal responsibility, and the mandate from the Supreme Court, they have asked us to perform this task. We have the instrument we provide to the police. The vice president came while she was sitting upstairs in the city mayor office because she recommended the city mayor at that place. She ordered the city mayor to cut the left off. We have paid our money already and convened our conventions for us to go there. She told the city mayor to cut the left off and asked us to leave the place. We resisted. We said, we're not leaving the place. She left. She could not come in the hall again. She began to call some of the county chairpersons. So you gotta go outside in front of our place so we can hold a convention. Because I have the authority to do so. So while we were in the hall and the proceeding of the convention was going on as mandated by the Supreme Court, they were outside the zinc shop where the carries of renovation. And somebody can say, oh, the Standard Bureau says she's conducting election. Also, she appointed Imaya Loma, a Loma now chairperson of elections committee. And I told him that was a joke because Loma, as one person I know, I highly respect, and will not accept those kind of tasks to perform because they are procedures. So we were going ahead and our voting process was good. Less than 30 minutes, Senator Barrow completed her convention. She have appointed people. She was re-nominated as Senator Barrow. Was a great violation. Under our constitution, it's clear. Under 11.1 as to how Senator Barrow are elected. Senator Barrow are elected in the 15 political subdivision and endorsed at National Convention. Senator Barrow are not electable for biannual convention. How does Senator Barrow behave in that manner and form? So this is what really happened at the Pinsfield Town Hall, and people were really beaten. People got wounded from the SS assigned to hall. And the last guy that entered the building, had it not been some of those boys for them to rush on him, his attention was to fire in the hall. This is exactly what happened. And they held our convention in the hall. After they left, they had conducted their process. Also, Jim Bannon was duly elected, Joe Mobile, and the likes of the other people, and we adopted a resolution. We have now notified the National Elections Commission and the co-leader for democratic change of these processes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Peters Lomax. We're going to hear from guys. You want to ask questions before we get to Emmanuel Lomax, since we heard from Andrew Peters?
No, I think we hear from Mr. Lomax. That way we can balance it out.
Yes, let's hear from Mr. Lomax. Thank you. Mr. Lomax?
Well, thank you. Mine is basically to just we have to make this interactive, and we have a very huge Spoon has a huge listening audience, and it is not my intention tonight to bore people that are so busy around and that are curious to understand exactly what I'm thinking. You're speaking with somebody probably that got one of the enviable record positively in the country that is unmatched for anybody. I think the other individual who probably came near that was Oreshogu. I organized 2 political parties, and like the football players would do, they say I gave an assist. So I also had the opportunity to organize the National Patriotic Party with other folks, some of whom are deceased today. So I have a very huge experience. Yes, Andrew Peter is an organizing committee member of the party from a county. He wasn't on the national level. So probably some of the nuances and some of the issues that interplay with the National Patriotic Party, he doesn't really know. The constitution of the party was written by us, and we have had some structural adjustment at times, but probably these folks that are coming in, most of them may not really know the issues. I have here within the constitution of the party, the original 2004 constitution and the amended one of 2016. I'm just going to speak on just few issues that attended this very, very, very sad situation. I see him go in details. This one happened, the standard bearer. Everything about them is like the standard bearers. They have been very disrespectful, not only to the standard bearer of the country, the vice president of the country, who is also a lady and a mother. They've been so disrespectful. Just from his presentation, you will know. He comes at one level. There's a paradox that is so difficult to comprehend. You say the standard bearer met somewhere around the Zinsha at the Peaceful Tower and appointed people. Then you say later on, you learn that the standard bearer have had convention, she have been elected. You come back and say that standard bearers are only elected during biannual convention, during the alternate years of convention. And all these myths. Let me just be very swift to provide the platform for all of us to understand exactly what obtained. What probably Peter doesn't understand, just banning. I mean, with all due respect to the senator, I recruited him along with other people. I brought him from Maryland. The National Patriotic Party started with the National Patriotic Association Liberia, headed by Thomas, the late Thomas Nima and I. So I went to Maryland, I brought him. We're stopping on Cottington, House 27. The records are there. He stopped with us for over 2 weeks. And we gave them forms and other paraphernalia, instructed them to go and start the National Patriotic Party process in Maryland County. So he knows that very well. What I wish to emphasize here, just briefly to summarize exactly what obtained that brought us to this very, very, very ugly situation. Fast forward, there were one or two confusion in the national. I'm not being on the leadership. I'm like an ombudsman in the party. I gave some direction. My stuff is based on the constitution. As an organizing committee member, it qualifies me automatically to be on the advisory board. So I have been there giving some pieces of advice here, there, also to have a structure. You know, you have a tripartite coalition. You must perform and behave in such a manner that will attract respect from the rest of the other two parties. So I've always told them, Andrew Peter's situation, my own brother here with James Barney, has always been the constitution. Like, he doesn't see the glass as being half full. Everything is an issue. He gets ready to address the Senate Bureau, and it will interest you to know. And those under the sound of my voice will tell you, those that witness the program. I mean, some of the insults and so. One of the boys that was just dismissed from the port, a boy that can probably live with any of us, we brought him up. He stands there, and they have few of them in the chat room. They sponsor, he and Barney sponsor them. I will show you, I will screenshot them and send all to you. These are boys. Some of them got serious struggle within a subject void agreement, but they are just there. He gets these guys who are unqualified, and people, all they are mastered to do is to insult from the standard bearer down to every other person. Now, based on this constitution, after they did all of the thing around, they went to the court. The civil law court ruled. An appeal was taken to the Supreme Court. As I say, I'm just going to summarize. And the Supreme Court upheld the decision of the civil law court and said the James Barney administration should take the parties to its biannual convention, sub-biannual convention, within 45 days. That understanding of the leadership taking was misconstrued. For him, Andrew Peters and James Barney, he thought that in political party politics, when they say the chairman should do this, whether he has interest in becoming a candidate or not, he should sit there and supervise every aspect of the convention. Then they give you an accolade and say you're one. That is their understanding, which is very myopic. When they gave you the instruction to organize a convention along with a leadership, it has a complete different connotation. Now, just for the sake of the public, I wish to explain this. When they gave that mandate, the individuals on the other side, so to speak, quote unquote, the dual side, they are part of their leadership. All of them get together first to constitute a convention coordinating committee. That was the meaning of that mandate. They didn't understand it. All James Biden does, he takes the phone and call Andrew Peter. Andrew say, "Oh, he's a big constitutionalist. God, we got to do this. We got to do this." James Biden came. We had a meeting. Senator James Biden came, the chairman, the former chairman rather. We had this meeting, the All-Star Wars meeting, where the vice president was. As a matter of fact, there was a resolution there. They hugged one another. He stood there and said, "I am now a senator. I want to see this process going peacefully. I'm not going to run any further." And everyone applauded him there. So it was not an issue of having a chairman that even before he got elected as senator for Maryland, he didn't even step to party headquarters. And this is all about banning. If you open this line today, people in the diaspora will all tell you the reason why he appreciates the job in the legislature. You know it. It's clear. Point of this, that's a motion for this. They're on the gun on plane, and they're out of the country. So why serious money administrators like some of us are working to transform the dynamics in our country in terms of the human growth? They're implementing and what's about they apportioning certain portion of the national cake and what's on certain. So he appreciates that. He doesn't say, if you look at his record from the legislature, from the House of Representatives, his attendance there was less than 20%. You understand? And even now, so this is his culture. He has never sat in the party office one day. Nobody sees him. He doesn't answer the phone. So it was to the liking of the rest of the people. Look, what do? We are happy that this man has been elected. Can we give a new lease to our party so that we'll pay some attention and structure this party as we move towards campaigning? And so that was the understanding. So people took that as an opportunity to come up with new leadership. It didn't go up to 3 weeks. Whether it was Andrew Peters who influenced him, he came and said he wants to run again. A complete contradiction from what he has earlier agreed to. And this bro, they went to the court. As I said, fast forward, they gave them this mandate. When you look at this constitution, what it says, that after you shall have constituted a convention coordinating committee, there is a standing committee that handles the parties in all, is common to all political parties. This standing committee is the elections committee. Ask him, I challenge them to show you the constitution of the elections committee if they have any record. You know why it says in line with this constitution? The party has 4 auxiliaries. The 15 counties shall send 1 individual, 4 from the 4 auxiliaries of the party. That amounts to 19. Amongst the 19, they shall elect a leadership, a chairman, to spearhead on the. Meaning that if you went in the convention hall, especially in the instance case of Barney, he was a candidate. What they failed to realize is that by the time you open the convention, and that's what they did, it's in line with the Constitution. When you open the convention and they do dedicate noting, you as a presiding officer, his function ceases to exist at that movement. All those, including Sanvi in the studio here, will tell you that's how it works. There is no chairman that opens a convention, especially he has an interest as a candidate. He says there, he says, well, the understanding of this ruling is that I will sit here and supervise. You are a candidate. Who will leave you over there? Can you be a referee and a player? So in this political party, a democratic disposition, what normally happens is that when you shall have opened the convention, do the dedicated, you leave the stage. Convention have many other ways to derive its leadership. You either do block voting, you do a hair count, you do secret ballot, or you do resolution. They up to that, they've not understood those layers. They've not understood it. For him, he enters the convention hall and says that he's talking about thought. Every time I hear him talking about the vice president, this respectable lady has come. She went and sat in the corner. In fact, she had to go through all kinds of excruciating things. There no air conditioning. The place was hot. She wanted peace. There's a boy they call Saros Kamara, who is the youth chair. I mean, go and see. We'll send the footages. The man had a vest with all the young boys. They had drank some king juice and a lot of other stuff. They had knives on that. They went there purely to vandalize the place. and they had it moving. Amanda, wait to the militarize in the entire place. On the vice president went there, we of course had written the police, the Minister of Justice, to ensure calm in the hall. Before the very state security they were insulting. I hear Andrew say the vice president gave instructions. You know what happened? Ask anyone. He went and stood before the place and hindered the movement of a sitting vice president in the country. They started to ring insults. It was upon that time the state security had to tell him to leave, and he got an altercation with the people. And they brought him out, they took him from the place. As a Secretary General, is that your role to go and block entry of the vice president in a convention? So they're talking about, of course, that was a non-issue for us, because the greater picture is what we're looking at. What they failed to do with the convention committee, with the elections committee in line with this constitution, we did it. The 15 counties sent in representatives with the full auxiliary. I was sent by Bon County. Bon County is my county. And amongst them, gave him my political knowledge and also an experience. I told them I didn't want anything out of this thing. As a former chairman of all the political parties and the organizers, I got so much experience, I will guide the process. There, I became elected among all of them as the chair of the Elections Commission. We went in there, they had toss in the place, breaking things. The police even had to come and spray tear gas. When we got ready, Barney was called to come over and meet the vice president so that we look at the consolidation of the delegate listing. Now, in political party, you look for the numbers. He said to the other one, this party, as grassroots structure as the NPP is, we got 638 delegates representing people. People keep as far as Maryland and some of them on motorbike. You could see the condition of those people. For love of the party, the king. You sit in Monrovia, you go take boys from Nikuta and other people, you say they are delegates to deprive those people. They say, hell no. They're going to hall. And they went there because they wanted to exercise the franchise, especially after a long time of confusion. They got there, they are tossed started to break things up, and this did a lot of other stuff. So guess what happened? To almost conclude on this briefing, the guys went to work. All of the 638 delegates converged. For him, he thought when they say convention, you should go in. If the rooms are marked from 1 to 10, you got a specific room where you should be. The delegates left the toss with them. While Barney is sitting all like one general, his boys surrounding him, they are bringing you, doing all kinds of stuff. They went to a specific part of the area and sat there and said, well, what is it that we want to do? They decided to suspend the rest of the issues and look at the reaffirmation of the framework document so that their role can be clearly defined in this coalition and the tripartite arrangement. They did that. They reaffirmed the structure of the NPP in terms of how they intend for the various counties to work. They called for genuine peace in the country, and they then decided to do an endorsement. Before that endorsement, this is what happened. Probably he's not aware of the Constitution. It's 4 and 6 years. People have 4-year tenure and they have 6-year tenure. The 6-year tenure was affecting the Standard Bearer and the Secretary General, the 4-year, the chairman. What Andrew Peter did not understand is that the convention in any political party democracy is the highest decision-making organ. It says that you have something, if the convention says that we are going to change this, the power is in heaven, like it is in Article 1 of our Constitution, in the people. So those 638 delegates got there and said the 2 years of confusion, because the 4 years tenure were ended in 2020 and 2022 for the 6 years. Since we went and brought ourselves in all the confusion, we will now combine 6 years and 4 years and have the convention. All positions should be declared vacant. I, as chair of the Elections Commission, the only responsibility I had, as in line with the Constitution, was to upheld the decision of the convention. Then we went ahead, they did their resolution, they reaffirmed their support for the Standard Bearer, who had resigned in line with their dictate and their mandate, and the position was up for the national chairman. Of course, Barney did not make himself available. He was having his toss and their dances over in the hall, and they took the decision. So this is how this leadership was evolved. While we're doing that, they took another mandate to have people soon in office because they needed to go back in their respective counties and start to work. We saw them somewhere dancing beyond Barney. all over the place. Is the having convention? So this is clear. We have
All right.
notarized all the documents. We have presented to the National Elections Commission. They were presented by the actual delegates from all of the country. It was a complete show. People saw them. The actual people,
So,
the Newtown, yes, the Broad and the West Point, and
where
the
are you with the Jupiter and West Point business?
That's exactly what they did. So indeed, that result is going to stand sacrosanct because first of all, the violated. You cannot have a convention if you don't have a convention, a planning committee, and you don't have an election commission that derive its strength and authority from the constitution of the party. So this is exactly what I'm doing.
Mr. Emmanuel Lomax, Mr. Andrew Peters, thank you very much. We can ask our question. I believe we have given you guys sufficient time to explain to the Liberian people out there exactly where we are. And so we're going to ask our question. I will start from myself today. Dr. Peabody, thank you for joining us. Who submitted the document? Which one of the chairmen submitted the document this morning to the National Election Commission? Mr. Lomax.
I can come in. Oh,
Mr. Lomax, who submitted the document to NEC?
Yeah, it was the leadership elected, headed by Councillor Stanley Parkland.
Who signed as chairman?
Councillor Stanley, the elected chair.
Who is the elected chair?
Elected and inducted chair.
See that?
The elected and inducted chair of the National Patriotic Party and Councillor Stanley Parkland did present on behalf of the Executive Committee the document to the National Elections Commission.
This convention, were there a committee set up?
Yes, what they failed to do.
No. Was there a committee set up? It's not what they failed to do. You guys set up a committee, right?
Now, listen, the reason why I'm taking time to answer it, when there are two sides you're looking at, who set up the committee? So let me get your question clear, please.
Yeah, you guys had a committee set up prior to going to the convention, correct?
Oh, yeah, sure. And what I was trying to say
to you that who was heading the committee?
The committee I was set up to supervise the convention. I was the one elected by the delegates.
You was heading that committee?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. You were heading the convention committee, not the Madam VP, not the Jimmy, not Senator Benny. No, it was the entire committee. You were heading that committee, correct?
Sure.
So both sides, Madam VP and Senator, they have imposed the right in you, constitutional right, to head a committee. Am I correct?
No, you have a category of individual that wanted to be non-compliant. Now that's why I want to. Group of people decided to be lawless. We took the mandate from the Civil Law Code to proceed to our convention. The standard bearer, Manager Howard Taylor, waited that all of these processes will be put into place. They refused to do so because they wanted to entrench themselves in power. So when the delegates came, as we normally say,
you're moving ahead of the question, sir. I just want us to establish something. You're going ahead of the question. After the Supreme Court decision, everybody returned back to base. A committee was set up. Who set up the committee?
Committee wasn't set up, and this is what
So there was no convention. No, there was no convention committee set up. A committee that was
absolutely
that had a convention.
Absolutely no committee was set up.
Oh, okay.
No.
So hold on now. So it means somebody that we just talked to had the story wrong. So let me ask Mr. Andrew the same question, please. Mr. Andrew Peters, was there a committee set up to So are we missing something, Mr. Lomax?
Let me tell you the procedure how it works. Lomax doesn't know it.
Just real quick. I don't want us to go back in the story now because everybody on the show
committee was constituted.
Everybody on the show eager to ask questions. Mr. Peters, real quick.
Yes.
Was there a committee set up? Yes or no?
Oh, sure.
So who had the committee that was set up?
It was headed by the national chairman of the party in line with our constitution on a 5.1.
The national chairman is Jimmy, correct?
Yes, Jim Barney. And the Constitution says that only the national chairman of the party can preside over any legal session of the party.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
this
Thank you,
have
Mr.
been
Lomax.
yes.
I mean, thank you, Mr. Peters. Mr. Peters, thank you.
Yes.
So are we missing something, Mr. Lomax? Why are you saying there was no committee set up? Mr. Peters saying there was a committee set up. But what are we missing here, Mr. Lomax? Real quick. Let me give you the time to explain briefly.
What we are missing here is this: if you have a group of individuals decide to go outside of the bailiwick of the law, you have these kinds of stuff. Indeed, before you have a convention of any nature in a political party, you set up the convention preparatory committee. That committee reports to the elections committee that takes seize of the authority. If they fail to perform, like the chairman, the leadership, the decision is taken by the national convention, by the delegates. So in this instant case, that's exactly what happened. They failed to do that. If you ask them,
to correct you, Mr. Lomax, so for you to say there were no committee set up, then you're in error, correct? Because there was committee set up, but something happened down the way that you guys disagree. Am I correct?
But probably you're not understanding me. How will a committee be set up? Committee? There was absolutely no committee set up. I challenge Andrew. You see what he said to you? That the committee was set up by the national chairman. You were the head of the committee. He says what you heard what he said? How possible is that? So all of what obtained there, they were all wrong, and that's why the delegate themselves took on, because they have the constitutional authority to ensure that they right the wrong. That's exactly what obtained.
Okay. We will proceed, and I will come back, because it's very important that the folks hearing us tonight, you are saying there were no convention committee set up. Mr. Peter is saying yes, we set up a committee. Madam VP, was she aware of the committee being set up?
As a matter of fact, she even asked them at the Princeville Town Hall on Friday, can you even just give me a copy of today's program? Because they were so disorganized, not a single sheet was ever given to the Standard Bureau.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the program I'm not talking about the program at the convention. Did you guys give the VP any document to prove that you guys set up a committee, Mr. Peters? Any document was given to her?
Yes, the VP, along with Chairman Banning, will even serve the draft program. This convention is an overdue convention, when we should have gone to Bond County last year before people from the VP go into court. We ought to approve of all of the programs. I have the draft copy where the Standard Bearer make correction. It's on fire. And she also gave names of committee members. Loma should have been Waste and Me committee chairperson. She said no. She wanted Eve, because Eve has some experience in terms of financial management. So she recommended Eve. She even recommended other people, Melly Kemo, some other prominent partisans to serve on some of these committees. And we added them in the structures of the executive committee, including Emmanuel Gore, who was then the former chairman of Bond.
So I beg Mr. Peters, please. Is that true, Mr. Lomax? Yes. Did these things happen? Because I got to move on to the rest of the guys. Will your name been changed, move position-wise by the VP? Are you aware of these things Mr. Peters is saying?
I hope Andrew Peters, the former secretary, I hope he's properly understanding your question. He's talking about general committee in the party. I guess you are specifically asking the committee that has to do with this election. He's not understanding that. He's not understanding it. There was not a single, because I think your question basically focused
on the convention committee.
We have several committees constituted, including the convention coordinating committee. The convention coordinating committee is squarely in line with our constitution. If you, I send the constitution copy to you, and
I understand, but what I'm saying to you, Mr. Peters, after you guys set up the convention committee, I'm asking you, Madam VP, was she fully aware that you guys had a
I'm
convention
saying
committee
the
set up?
Soviet near program was taken out of office. She and I sat
When?
and discussed it.
When?
In December. In December,
December
we
of
sat and
last
approved
year.
all the program. Oh yeah, we approved. This
So are you
convention is
saying
not
to
just a
us,
new.
Mr. Peters, are you saying to us the
Yes.
convention committee was set up December of last year?
The convention coordinating committee was constituted last year when we were going for our annual convention on the second Saturday. That very committee was also reaffirmed. There were no changes on the convention coordinating committee.
Reaffirmed by whom? Reaffirmed when?
By the leadership in its last executive committee meeting, where
When
I
was that?
reported
When was
on
that?
September 4th. On September 4th.
This gone September 4th.
Oh yes, I made at the time the Standard Bearer was not here. Loma was a visitor to the meeting because he's not an NEC member. But the Standard Bearer asked us that she had 3 permanent presidents to be at the meeting. Well, Loma, Fox, and Joe Harvard. They were privileged to be in that meeting, and the programs and reports from the Secretary General were made, and they were approved.
So Mr. Peters, please, Lomax,
Yes.
this is true. September 4th. Did you attend any meeting?
I attended a meeting, but you heard what he said. Since last year, December, the committee was constituted or reaffirmed. And I just appreciate the question you're asking. By who? If a document, if an instruction as a result of the non-compliance by the both parties went to the court, and the Supreme Court and the Civil Law Court gave a mandate and say have election in 45 days, I thought Andrew should be convincing this audience that within the 45 days, those very specific mandate that was given was adhered to.
Oh, yes.
He's telling you that last year. So at what point in time this party, in adherence to the Civil Law Court's mandate in 45 days for election, did they constitute a convention coordinated committee? None existed.
Thank you. Let me bring in the guys. Kev Hassan, I'm a little bit confused with both sides right now on this convention committee. And that's the reason why we are asking the question, who have approved the committee, then it would take us to where we are. Ask your question, Kev. We'll go to Chairman Benson and Dr. Peabody.
Yeah, I'm just going to follow up a little quick on this committee. Mr. Andrew, do you have any, documentation program sheet to show that, there was a committee, there was a whole structure was set up? Do you have anything?
Oh yes, the Soviet Union program is here that was approved. Before convening a convention, there must be 2 successive NDC meetings to approve the agenda of the convention. And under our constitution, the Secretary General, who happen to be the administrator, will present those documents for the NDC approval, which I did. The court also requested us to do that. We did exactly. The NDC met, approved or ordered the agendas. Let us say Loma was in that meeting. Even the treasurer of the party made a report. Loma made an input that report must be done at the convention. That was an agenda. So all of the agenda item for that convention was approved and submitted to the National Elections Commission. Before you conduct a convention, you must have written the Elections Commission and do a publicity for 14 days, both in print and electronic media, which we did. Committees were public. No one raised any issues. Elections Commission had in its possession those documentation between the NPP and the Elections Commission. And this is why Elections Commission were present at the convention, because we met with all of the requirements as it relates to political party conventions and independent candidate conventions. We did that. We have all the document to prove. And this is the program. So it is here. What Loma is saying is not providing a reference information. Honor our constitution. And that's why when you're discussing constitutional issues, you will make citation. You don't just get narrated without citation, because law means citation. You have to get citation. The constitution says on 5.6G that in the absence of the national chairman of the party, the vice chairperson of the party, the secretary general assume the responsibility as chairpersons of the party. Loma cannot tell this forum that an elections committee, which is a standing committee, will assume authority of the party. That's not true. This is why when we read the agenda item and those qualified candidates were presented to the delegates, they, as Secretary General of the party, assumed the responsibility of chairperson and inducted those committee in office. So the elections commission function under the directive of the party leadership, not by themselves. After the convention, they will report back to the Secretary General, and this is why the Secretary General and the chairman does not have the same tenure. So that when the chairman is going for election, they stand up, the Secretary General will have an authority to preside in keeping with our constitution. If the Secretary General is going for election, the chairman by now would be intended to preside. So there's no vacancy for elections committee. Election committee is a standing committee that we are constituted long ago. It's a standing committee. It's not a committee that's constituted only at convention. We got 6 standing committee: the legal rule and committee, the grievance and ethics committee, the press information committee. Those are standing committee. Those are not ad hoc committee that are dissolved immediately after election. They are an existing committee. So Loma cannot say that there were no committee set up when in fact the party have been going for convention. In 2016, we held our convention. We have no committee constituted in office to come and say at the convention they elected him. On what authority? I mean, you were exercising irrelevant authority because it is the leadership to whom those names will be submitted. Under whose chairmanship those names he claimed that elected him were submitted, which is not true. We have a standing committee. Or in the program.
Thank you, Mr. Peters.
My second question is to Emmanuel. Mr. Emmanuel, there's a lot of noise and rumors going around that the VP is actually forcing a third time. You know, she want to go there for the third time. And, you know, noise and stuff going around. This convention is to elect the standard bearer. That was the election this convention was about, electing the standard bearer that the VP wanted to go for the third time. Can you clear that?
Yes, okay. What is so strange is like I am not a medical doctor, so if I ever attempt to go in the operating theater, I'll kill someone. So this is exactly the scenario I see here. Andrew doesn't understand that when you are in a convention mood, they open the convention official. And let me just give this education to him briefly to come to your question. He has to understand this so that it gets clearer to our listening audience. The day of the convention, I saw he and the chairman, who is a contestant, both of them, they're all sitting on stage, a group of people standing fanning them. And so he doesn't understand how it works. When the chairman opens the convention in line with the Constitution, you know the delegates right in there. The Elections Commission moves in all powers. And he needs to understand this part. That's the education he needs to get. All powers would now be seconded to that committee. After the successful handling of the exercise, they then report. That's the mandate now of the National Convention. I hear you say when the chairman moved, then he will sit down there or he missed it. Now, coming back to your question, I see them getting the standard bearer in this thing over and over. Do you know why the issue of the so-called $90,000 US, the standard bearer should have given this time? I have the bank statement here. These guys were going, each time we put money in the account, we pay for candidates registration up to 20,000 USD. Some of us pay the dues in the party. The bank account here, I'm going to leave it here. They have gone surreptitiously and started to take money from the account with no regard for transparency. Now, this is a standard bearer who is, the lawyer almost says, stay with this decision. If that
I'm sorry, Mr. Lomax. Can you give that to the producer? We got to put it up on the screen, please. Can you just hand it over to him real quick? Thank you.
That's it. It's a whole stuff here. The bank statement, they have gone there withdrawing monies for the account, withdrawing money from the account. So the standard bearer have had an issue of integrity with the leadership. This is where they have been angered. When you call their name, they say, well, somebody is trying to defame their character, but the records are here. In fact, when Senator James Barney was saying that he had money in the account, the balance in the account was like $100 and something. After he knew that this issue would have been raised, they immediately went back to the bank to go get some 30,000 and place it back. The records are here. The bank is not going to lie. So because of all of the integrous issue, they've been very disintegrous. So what then this Standard Bearer did, he said, look, I'm going to have to put 1 cent in this party. I'm going to have a mandatory signatory to the account in Boris P., who is the controller. They said, no, don't do that. Get the money to us. Even the money that the Standard Bearer, Her Excellency, the Vice President, put in the account, up to now, honestly, it's only 1,000 something. All of the withdrawal slips are there. How do you look at this? And this is where the delegates got very angry.
I'm sorry, Mr. Lomax. So how much was put in the account by the VP?
$35,000 just of recent time.
35,000 United States dollars?
35,000 United States dollars.
And how much is the current balance in the account?
It's around 1,000 some more. They have taken all the money out. That's what you guys have done.
All right, so 1 minute. Let's bring in Chairman Band. This thing is getting deeper by the minute. Chairman, go ahead.
maybe I should just say the lesson to this one. But no, let me say, first of all, let me say hi to both Lomax and Mr. Peters. Mr. Peters, I want to ask you a question. I know that the processes, all the different processes with the convention. Let me tell you why I'm going to skip that for now, because I know there was a misunderstanding. But I want to go back to something. One, there are a couple of things Chief Cyril Allen said yesterday, and I wanted to get some clarity. You are the custodian of records as Secretary General. Chief Cyril Allen stated yesterday that the VP still has 2 years left on her term as standard bearer. Can you clarify that? When was she elected as standard bearer? And does she still have 2 years? Because I think he was in Stanton. I remember that's what he said. I stand to be correct. He said 2 years. You muted, Stanton. Sorry.
No, he said next year, December, her term will be over.
Next year, December. So
yeah.
So yes. Okay. So sorry. Correction. He said next year, December. Will be over. When does the 6-year term ends? When does it end?
The standard bearer are elected during elections year. The standard bearer and the secretariat got 6 years together, not 6 years 1 day. Here how the process are conducted. This convention was for 4 years people, 4-year officer, which include the chairperson and vice chairperson. It was not the standard bearer election. The standard bearer stay in tenure along with the secretariat. And it was not even the forum, because I indicated to you, our constitution under 11.1 state how standard bearer are elected. Standard bearer are elected from the 15 political subdivision of the country, because you got to win the vote. We have the American star in our constitution. So you have to go to the electorate and you are elected. It was a clear violation of our constitution for Loma to come and say the standard bearer endorsed. And standard bearer are not endorsed at by annual convention. It is only a national convention. So he was in error. And this is what I've said. And for me, the issue is not about bullshit. It's about preaching legality. And there's no justification to commit a crime. Loma will admit to the fact that he erred. And all of the issues he's talking about, financial issue, this, that. Look,
Peter,
the country is...
One second, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I want to bring it back to something quick.
Yes.
And we'll talk about the financial thing. I think Stanton will put up the financial thing, and you will have ample time to clarify that. I'm asking you the question that you said that the standard bearer is elected in an election year, correct? Is that what you said?
Yeah, sure.
You also stated here that you guys have to go to the 15 counties to elect a standard bearer.
For election, to elect the standard bearer.
That's what you also said, correct? Good. Yes. So that leads me to two questions.
Okay.
When were you supposed to do because I'm assuming it would be primaries, because if you're doing 15 counties.
Yeah, primaries. Yes.
It will be primaries, right? When are you
Yes.
supposed to be doing those primaries? Because remember, we are already 1 year to elections. Today,
Yes.
as of today, we are 1 year to elections. So when are you going to do your primaries to elect your standard bearer?
The primary should have started by now. But because of the delay in court action against the biannual convention, which was to elect officers of the full year, it dragged. So immediately after this biannual convention, we have to go back to the county to elect the county chairperson. County chairperson are not elected in Monrovia. There are procedures under our constitution as to how county chairperson are elected, not in another county. They are elected squarely in their county. So this convention only meant for the 4 years people. After this, we set the stage. We hold a National Executive Committee meeting. The Secretary General will also report and giving the next officer to be elected consistent with the Constitution. So that's what they did at the Pinsway, outside of the Pinsway Town Hall, was in violations of our Constitution. The standard bearer elections was not due. But let me tell you one important thing why they rush. I want to tell you one important thing why they rush, which all of us have decided to work around it as leader of the party. The standard bearer has served 12 years. The standard bearer is wanting 13. 9.1 of our Constitution says all other party officers should serve for only 2 terms, not more than 2 terms. What they're trying to dodge is to carry on illegal action that will unauthorizedly, unconstitutionally allow the standard bearer for 3rd term. What we have done, meetings we have been holding among ourselves. Our standard bearer now is not just an ordinary person. She's now the vice president of the country. What do? We in Chivali. What we need to do is to amend, to hold a constitutional convention, to amend that provision to allow the standard bearer 3rd term. And this is what they don't want us to do. They want to prevent. The Constitution is clear. No other party official go for 3rd term. So because of this, they have provided a lot of wrong information to the standard bearer. Look, the leadership on Barney and Peter want to remove you. They want to bring Edwin Snow.
That's where I want
this person. So
Mr. Peters,
which is not true.
Mr. Peters, thank you for bringing that up. You said 9.2 of your Constitution, but before we go deeper into that, 9.1. Sorry, thank you for the correction. 9.1 says that people are not supposed to get more than 2 terms. But let me ask you a question. By your explanation, you also have a 6-year term as Secretary General for continuity, from what I have been told. Correct?
Yes.
The standard bearer has a 6-year term. Only the national chair and 13 vice chairs have 4 years. I'm asking you this question because does it mean that your tenure is over also as in as much as the standard bearer tenure is over? Because when were you elected?
This is my first 2016.
What month in 2016 were you elected? I'm trying to figure out something here as to why you had this biannual convention. Because if you were elected in 2016, you too have already exhausted your 6-year term. So does the vice president, right? Is that correct?
No. Let me tell you one thing. December 2nd Saturday in this year should have been the secretarial convention. And the standard bearer elections will begin before the secretarial election because we have to go across the country. Because of the delay of the biannual convention, we are not elected at biannual convention. We are not elected at biannual convention because we have 6 years. We cannot be elected by the people with 4 years. So immediately after their convention should have been the standard bearer and the secretarial election. But there was a delay of the court action. We should have held this convention on the 2nd Saturday in December 2020. Because the matter was in court, we could have not proceeded until the final decision was made. So immediately after this convention, the Secretary General will have to report to the Executive Committee that now the leadership, the secretariat, along with the standard bearer, then you deal. The difficult situation that we found ourselves in is, which rational people have to make a determination. Our standard bearer is not just an ordinary standard bearer. She's now vice president.
I agree with
our
that.
Determination is that how do we approach it?
So, Mr. Peters, I beg you, because we have other people who want to ask, and that's why I keep. I'm not trying to interrupt you, but the reason I'm asking you, and I want to ask Mr. Lomax one question, Stanton. I beg you, and then I can go to Dr. Peabody, please. Mr. Peters, again, you alluded to the fact that there have been delays. Correct? There have been delays. You guys should have had this convention way before you all had planned to have it. Is it fair to say? And I want to ask you, what month in 2016 you got inducted into office? Is it fair to say that you and the standard bearer are out of terms? You guys need to go for election? Is it fair to say that?
But let me tell you one thing. I've just indicated to you that the second Saturday of this year, December this year will be a national convention where the standard bearer will be endorsed, where the secretariat as central office will have to face election. I indicated to you how secretariat elections are done, because on a 5.6a, it said the composition of national secretariat. The composition of national secretariat are 1, the secretary general, of assistant secretary general, or a salary head and county chairperson. For the fact that that convention is due in December, no county chairperson have the authority or the legitimacy to participate in the national secretariat election until they are elected in the county. This is why we did not touch them, and we allowed them to come, because to participate in the 4-year convention, afterward, we have to go back in the county, elect them, then the standard bearer are elected there, then we'll come to the national convention. That's the only way they will participate in the national secretariat election. That is the process. It is consistent with our constitution.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Lomax, my last question with Mr. Lomax, then I'll tell everybody. Mr. Lomax, you stated that you got elected as chair of the Elections Commission during the convention. According to parliamentary proceedings, when it comes to conventioneering, the convention has to be opened by the presiding officer, who in this case, from my understanding, is the chairperson of the party, the national chairman of the party. Was your convention ever opened by your national chairperson? And how did you get elected as the chair of the Elections Commission?
Okay, let me just clarify this before coming to your question. In the first place, you asked Andrew when he got elected. He got elected 2016. From 2016 to 2022, that's 6 years. The action of the leadership of the party not to do any business in 2020 for those for 4 years worked against it, and the convention took a decision. But to come back to your question, probably you need to understand this. We didn't have 2 separate groups in there. All of us had gone in recognizing, though, the 638 delegates. They said no, they're going to disallow huge portion of those people that came to participate in the convention. So when they entered the hall, all 638 were in there, along with the so-called 300 and some almost 900 stuff. Some of us, the advice we gave was allow every delegate of the NPP to be part of this process to do the delegate listing. The chairman, at the time, we did not have Stanley Parkland as chairman, so it's not a question of saying we had another chairman that would be another convention. No, we did recognize his leadership. We sat there. He opened the convention. I keep saying this. Probably he doesn't know.
The convention? Who opened the convention? Who did?
The chairman, the former chairman at the time.
James Barney opened. Are you saying James Barney opened the convention? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely so. Absolutely so.
Mr. Peters, so when he opened the convention, that?
Loma is not saying the truth. And somebody is good to say the truth.
So James Barney did not open the convention?
When we entered the hall, there was commotion. The videos are there. The VP did not enter the hall. Nobody opened the convention at that time. The noise was too much, so we decided to wait. When the VP left from where she was sitting, they had a move on the podium closer to the court, because they have a zinc separating the Pinsville Town Hall and the court. It's near that place. Nobody then took the VP. And you know, sometimes when people advise, they don't run late.
Mr. Peters, sorry to interrupt.
Let me land.
Mr. Peters, sorry to interrupt you. We have heard enough. Who opened the convention? Okay. Let's just go to the question.
I mean, I want to know if
nobody did.
No, forget Lomax now. Who opened the convention? Who called the convention to order? Who called the person?
The national chairman, before they could perform what they did, the convention was never called to order. The convention was never called to order. When the police stabilized the whole situation at the PV Town Hall, when we reassembled in the hall at that time, Lomax and the other people that they brought, they have gone outside.
So who opened the convention after the police stabilized the situation?
I want to make this clear.
No,
I want to make this clear.
Long story now. You're making us sleeping.
There are two different conventions.
You're making us sleeping. Just who opened the convention?
There were no convention open before Lomax action. Lomax acted
after Lomax action. Who opened the convention?
Before opening the convention, Chairman Bani opened the convention and gave a convention address.
So let me ask you a question. We have Chief Allen on the show last night. Somebody opened the convention. You say you guys were in the program prior to the VP walk coming in with her group. Who opened your convention?
Who opened the convention?
No. When we got in the hall, there was accreditation process. You gotta have the qualified people in the hall.
True.
The delegate had to be qualified. I'm saying in that movement of qualification, what the delegates were, that's the time the VP entered in. That's where the commotion started. That promotion lasted for almost 3 hours.
So in essence, you are denying the fact, you are disputing what Lomax is saying, that James Bani called the convention to order. That's what you were doing.
It was after his action. I'm saying it was after his action.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that.
Action. And
so that's why.
But thank you, Ben. Let's move to Dr. Peabody. Dr. Peabody, if you want to come in.
Yeah, I mean.
Good to see you guys, everybody. Let me put this question out. I mean, I want to know what I want to know is, do you guys, are there some members of the NPP that want to endorse other political parties? Is that why we are seeing this? Anyone of you guys can answer.
You mean outside of the coalition?
Yes.
No. Even at the close of our convention, we signed a resolution that we remain engaged with the coalition. We remain supportive of the coalition of democratic change, because we are a progenitor of that. That is our making. So we cannot leave. There's no determination that any of us, be it Bani, myself, even the Lomas and the other legs, are determined to endorse any candidate, except he will prove me wrong that they intend to do so. But for us, no.
Okay.
Now you want me to speak to that?
Yes.
Certainly so. There are information that we are still trying to authenticate. Like yesterday, Chief Cyril Ali is a big brother and one of the respectable figures in the party. He said something I personally, as Emmanuel Lomas, would not do, when he said there was an inducement of $600 to the. If you look at those are wildcat allegations, I don't like to get involved in on their hard facts. If you say that Senate Bureau induced people with 600, if you multiply $600 by 338, you are talking about 382,000 United States dollars. Who has such a money? So that I don't like to get involved in this kinds of stuff. So the reason why I'm trying to put Andrew and his group on record here today, with regards that to your question, there are plans. This whole stuff, and we'll be on the show long. I don't want to take you back. The folks in the legislature, there was a formation. I want you to keep this today. There was the formation of the PUP from the guy that likes the nuclear article in the for the legislature was on a James Bali part of that, with George Moore part of it. The LPDP of Tyler, they also organized it. These guys are very smart. They organize this political party for the sole purpose of doing a lot of other stuff. Now, because of that experience that James Biden has from the legislature, they have begun talking. As a matter of fact, Andrew Peter does not know that around 3:20 this morning, he left his car. He went with a taxi at a political party of it. The next time I appear on Spoon TV, I will bring you the evidence. They are in talks with that political party, the James Biden, the Andrew Peter, all of them. We got the information.
Which political party?
That's a party, ANC. It's the ANC.
Okay.
So that is their reason. They try to create confusion in this party. The Standard Bearer should not have any voice. How do you say that when you open convention, you say nobody open? You see, he just contradicted himself. Nobody open convention. He comes back again and say, "Oh, later on when the talk scheme, that Barney open the man is confused." So the thing about it is, they want to take this party to another party. As a matter of fact, Barney is on record for saying that he wants to take this party out of the coalition arrangement. Where are they going? Communists has begun having talks with them. But we're going to verify all those information for the Liberian people to see.
So,
One day, if you don't see,
where was he at 3 a.m. this morning?
Oh, you are at the ANC, yeah.
Mr. Peters?
3 a.m.
Mr. Peters?
Mr. Peters was there this morning.
You are saying that Mr. Peters was at the ANC
Well,
I'm gonna ask him. That's why now you guys waking me up. You guys waking me up. I'm not sleeping anymore. Mr. Peters was at the ANC. Mr. Lomax. Mr. Peter was at the ANC compound this morning. Is that what you're telling Liberians?
At 3:20 this morning, he was there in a taxi. We got that,
Mr. Peters,
intelligence.
is that true?
But this is just
that
is a black lie. Let me tell you one thing. They got something they call character evidence. Loma is a notable person of flip-flopping all over. His history at the NUDP, his history at the other party of Prince Johnson, his history at the Liberty Party being a regional coordinator while we were then putting a coalition, is a character evidence of Lomax. What he trying to do, I'm a signatory to the coalition of democracy when he was then in bed with these people. But the first thing is, why would I leave my house 3 a.m. to be up by that time? I live here, David Rahil community. Why? I got my chiefs that came from the convention at my place. I'd go to bed the latest 10 o'clock. Why would I be doing OSA? More besides that, why the AMC people will be opening their door up to 3:30? So this is a complete lie.
But who are the ANC compound at 3 a.m. in the morning? Who
he knows that person. He knows the person. Apparently, he is in contact with them and trying to give the wrong information. The whole issue is
it's obvious that
the whole issue is he had no constitutional reliance to provide him what he did.
No, not
so he behaving
I just provided information
like
to you.
And
he doesn't want to listen to this.
He behaving like
I hear you say.
Loma, please
I hear you say that.
I was asked. Loma,
asked.
They didn't ask you. I stay on the floor. Stop behaving like a dangling mollifier.
But Mr. Peters. Mr. Peters, that gave Lomax a chance. He accused you. This is very serious, Mr. Peters. You woke up 3 a.m. in the morning. You went to visit Mr. Commies. You woke up 3 a.m. in the morning. You left your compound. You left your car back. You took taxi or you took motorbike, pen, or keke. Visit Mr. Commies. Mr. Lomax, where you got your information from? This is very important. And this is we got to flag this.
I hear Andrew say he has some chiefs at his house. He doesn't leave a house at 10. We have done a lot of political work.
Andrew and I were banding. We are being also now 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I said he wants to dispute this.
I don't even drink.
So for him to assume that he has never left resort after 10 o'clock is ludicrous. But the thing about it is, Andrew, I'm trying to get the plate number of that car. And if you have specific meetings, and if Chairman Ben Sambi would inform you, at time when I was doing consultancy for the Liberty Party, there were times where we were at that party headquarters up to 4 o'clock in the morning. He would always didn't off. So for him to say that he cannot leave his house to be up, Andrew was up, and they have
anything, with the exception of you saying, do you have anything to show that he's working along with Jimmy and the other folks working? Let me ask you a question, Mr. Andrew. Are you talking to anyone?
But in fact, that's not true. That's not true. Yesterday,
Mr. Peter, let me finish. Because somebody just sending us information. I do not want to dive into the hearsay. But are you talking to Toga McIntosh? Are you talking to Louis Brown? Are you talking to folks down there supporting Mr. Cummings?
That's not true. Loma just trying to defend our character because he know that we are in the right path. Chairman Molo is my witness. I left the coalition headquarters yesterday because I had a meeting. I'm the official spokesperson of the president re-nomination committee. I was named, and I'm performing my duty as an official spokesperson for the president re-nomination committee. How can I be an official spokesperson when Loma does not even hold a least position in that president nomination committee? I'll be talking to Cummings. What you guys trying to do is that to feed the coalition with wrong information so that they will look at wrongly that Barney and Andrew, after Labour struggled to bring the coalition together, we want to ooze them also that we will reap the benefit. So they will carry on life. I don't drink. I grow up in a Christian home. I don't stay up to that time. Nobody I have not gone up. I don't drink.
So can you Peter, can you say that?
I can drink. I grew up in a Christian home.
People who can drink will have to stay in the nightclub up to that time. Not me. I don't do that.
We got passed on that show. We can deal. So why are you talking?
But I mean, so Mr. Lomax, this would be a cheap shot if it is not good for you to call Mr. Peters that he woke up 3 a.m. and he want to visit Mr. Cummings. Mr. Cummings is not even in the country, I believe.
Let me correct this. I didn't say he went to the club to visit Mr. Cummings. Obviously, Mr. Cummings would not be there 10 o'clock waiting for something.
Exactly.
When you have operators on a specific mission, it is foolhardy for anybody to think that Cummings will be standing waiting for him there. First of all, Cummings would not even want to be seen. So I did not say that it's Cummings that you're waiting for. Absolutely no. They had a meeting there, and for now, because of the sensitivity of this information, I'm going to keep that source. There was a guy, and when it comes on, I just saw you to mark that. There's a guy that was they said the entire committee he went to meet the fellow last night by 3 in that office. I didn't say Cummings was there.
Okay, let me finish my. Let me see that. But let me complete my question here. Yes. My second question. Let me say this.
Yes, sir.
This is in regards to the $35,000 you talk about. Are you saying that these guys have used up all the money, or they can't be trusted? That's why they are trying to bring up this issue in the party, this division in the party. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Lomax?
You know what really angered these guys? The vice president, the Senate Bureau, had a trip to Tanzania, a state visit. Before going, in fact, we have in our chat room, she placed it there that she has the money available for the convention from the adjusted budget. She said, but I want the parameter of transparency to be set up and constituted so that I who am giving a huge portion of this amount feel comfortable. And in my view, we call them. Andrew is my friend in Barney. What is wrong with this? Rather Cooper be them? No, we cannot have pay signing this or all because of just the bank account, the bank statement I gave you. I mean, you can't believe that this guy will just go and start withdrawing. You expect this honorable woman to struggle for her money and take it and put it there for some boss to take it and start running with it. They have depleted this entire account. They've done that.
Mr. Lomax, how much did the VP promise to put in their account?
Okay, that's a very interesting question. And I see that running with a lot of other things. We had a meeting in Buchanan. At the time, we had planned for the convention to be in Bond County. Having done all the adjustment with delegate transportation, lodging, and everything, it came out to a total amount of $100,000 US.
Correct.
The vice president promised 90% of this amount, and Barney promised 10%. Of course, all of us in the party.
Did she put the? Did she give the 90%?
No, but this is it. When we came back again, confusion arose. We had to go back to the court. After the court gave the mandate, and she still had her money. After the court gave the mandate of having the elections in the time frame of 45 days, all of us, including Barney, Peters, they all agreed that there should be a change in venue. That change in venue was here in Monrovia, Muscle County. As a result of that, it was adjusted downward. So meaning that it was on the basis of percentage. She was still interested in giving her 90% to the adjusted budget. And this is where they've confused everyone.
No,
they come and say,
so,
you promised.
So hold on, Mr. Lomax. Hold on, Mr. Lomax.
Yeah.
It was adjusted. How much did she promise based on the adjusted amount to give?
She says 90%.
But did she give the 90%?
Now, the vice president gave the initial amount, 35,000 out of this. When she asked for the financial parameter to be set up, this is where the confusion came about. She even left message in the chat room when she was trying to Tanzania. I got my 90% available from the adjusted budget. Can you put in place the mechanism that will make all of us comfortable? They said no.
Mr.
Even
Peters,
at that.
Mr. Peters, the vice president promised you guys $90,000. Did she give you $90,000?
She did not.
Why not?
She did not. She did not. And let me come in what Loma is saying. Loma, don't exercise authority in a field that he does not have control. There were no adjusted budget. Even if we are adjusted our budget, the budget will go upward. Under the reallocation and reallotment of funds, we should have the conventions in Bond County. So if we shift the convention in Bond County, the budget reallocation will go upward because Muscle County is expensive more than Bond County. Let me give you an example.
But yet and still, Mr. Peter, yet and still, she agreed to give you 90%. Did she give you the 90%? What was her reason not giving you? What was the story? What did she tell you?
She decided to induce the delegate by sending like River G. She sent 450,000 to the guy in River G. In Lofa, she sent 200,000. In Grand Cru, she sent
why
over 500,000.
She didn't give it to the convention? Why she didn't give it to you guys? Why she sent it to all the countries?
She wanted to. These are the violations that she carried on because she wanted to induce the delegate, and put the leadership of the party against the delegate. Under our constitution, funding that are not accountable in our party account is not party fund. It's not party.
So then, how much did she give you guys?
According to the treasurer, she deposited 35,000 that got mature 4 days to the convention. That money had not been used. We decided to use our own resources available to conduct.
Is the money still in the account?
Yes. The treasurer, the money got mature 3 days because that was a check. That check, she deposited that check on the 29th. The records are there in the bank. The bank notified the treasurer on the 3rd. The convention is supposed to be on the 7th. So you expected us to wait for that money before we conduct the convention process. Those are the reasons for which.
So Mr. Peter, it looks like we're reading the different stuff over here. Let's go back, Mr. Peter. When your treasurer received the check, when?
She did not give the check to the treasurer. They deposited it.
What was it deposited?
Different person deposited it.
Who deposited the check?
I don't know. I think they said Morris Pay or somebody else because that's not my department.
When? When?
Is that a check that was deposited by Mr. Cooper, Randolph Cooper?
No, Randolph Cooper did not deposit the check. That check was deposited by the vice president, somebody she sent. Randolph Cooper did not see that check. But that particular check got matured through the bank information to the treasurer on the 3rd of October, meaning 3 days of the convention. The record are the bank.
We are seeing within this
bank statements here that say
the bank statement that we're seeing is a different information you gave me.
Well, no, Stanton, the bank statement here, there are 230,000 deposits.
Yes.
There is one by Randolph Cooper.
Correct.
On September 8th. Cash deposit by Randolph Cooper, 30,000, right?
Uh-huh.
And then if you look at the last page,
correct.
929, check issued by Joe Howard Taylor, 35,190. So
that's exactly where I was going.
September 29.
So that was 35,000. You agree? Yeah, you agree. But my question I'm also coming to: why is the balance now?
Why is it 1,000?
No, that's not 1,000. You got two accounts. Lamar is making mistakes. We have the regular account. And we have the party regular account. And we have the convention coordinating account. That check was deposited in the convention account, not in the party regular account. Apparently, it's the party regular account that he's shown here. I don't know when he got that.
But I would say
convention regular.
Yeah, but
I can authorize.
I gave this.
Lamar gave,
and I'm happy that the people have seen the balances. The 230,000 you see
that 30,000
to show you how the first one, how disingenuous they have been. And these are all of the issues that have made the Standard Bureau to be very apprehensive. If you see Andrews talking about sending money in the counties, you think the woman should work for a hard money and people started withdrawing. When they raised the issue, the convention registration money came to over $20,000 US. They started to use this money. In fact, Andrew is on record on one of the statements where they went to our leased property on Fifth Street. They took 7,000 some more United dollars from Israel. In fact, Barney did not even know about that. It was between he and Randolph Cooper. They started to do all the withdrawals. After we raised a very serious issue, what has happened with the money? There's even portion of this amount, a check that Andrew issued before to somebody that is believed to be his friend, a female. All of these things appear on the subject. So when this issue was raised,
Mr. Lomax,
can I tell you 1 minute? Honey went to work and took $30,000 so that we cannot catch it because what happened to the convention money? What happened to the delegate registration money? That money vanished in thin air from the account. That's how they came. If you look at the account, they came back.
Mr. Lomax.
One question, 1 second. Mr. Peters and Mr. Lomax, do any one of you know Amelia Garnett?
Because
there's several withdrawals.
And Patricia and Randolph.
Do you know these people, Mr. Peters? Because you're the Secretary General of the party. If monies are being withdrawn out of the party's account, I want to assume that you know these people. Do you know Mary Johnson? Do you know Amelia Garnett? Do you know Benedict Colley? Amelia Garnett again?
You guys like taking name by name.
Yeah, do you know these people?
I know those people. But let me tell you one thing. That is the party operating account. And you know that the party have to function. There are employees, there are people who sit at the party headquarters on a daily basis and work. We compensate them. Compensate them. What Loma is talking about, from that very account, we purchased 2 vehicles, one for the youth, because Chairman Bani has said, saying we are in conflict and we have some money in the account, I have some money coming to me. The youth chairman does not have a vehicle. The vice chairman for special project, Jopo Mekasa, does not have a vehicle. We cannot be operating the party and the arm of the party does not have anything. So you use the money to buy those vehicles. We bought 2 pickups. It's available at the party headquarters. And Barney replaced the money that we used to buy the pickup. It was not money that somebody took it. The papers are available. The MPYC chairman, Sarah
And
Kamara,
that,
using
and that
paper.
money, the money to buy the peacock came from.
No, but these are smaller withdrawals.
No, listen, the money to buy the peacock came from the 35,000.
No, this is that different money, that registration fee that we did. What we did was doing the
we are
convention.
talking about the 35,000, Mr. Peters.
The 35,000 is still in the convention coordinating account. Tomorrow, the treasurer can send you. Yes, it's still in the convention. You got two accounts. The one you got is the party operating account.
You're talking the 35,000 from this account and put it in a convention account. Is that what you're saying too?
No, she put it there. Put it there because the treasurer sent the convention coordinating account to her. It was that account they used to deposit the money. So the money is staying in the account. It's not being used.
It's so difficult to just deny. Tomorrow, any other time, we'll be standing to Spoon Management, the full account. As I speak to you, whatsoever account Andrew is talking about, in the first place, he says that he has an understanding of the financial system. He doesn't know. Do you know what others are conducted? If at all you misapply the 20,000 plus more that was collected by the Kennedy.
Can I correct Mr. Peters, please? Mr. Peters, every account have an account number. All the account number, everything they are the same.
No,
so
listen,
I'm not talking. Listen, Mr. Peters.
No, listen now. The one he presented to you,
yes,
with that bank statement, that's the party current account. We opened an account for the convention. It was in that convention account the Standard Bearer deposited that money.
Which
bank?
In
this current account.
Which bank?
GT Bank.
GT Bank.
GT
so
Bank
this is the account we're looking at.
But this
no,
account
we got two different accounts.
No, hold on, Mr. Peter.
Accounts.
You got two different accounts of GT.
Oh yes, we got two different accounts with GT Bank.
Okay, what I'm saying
so
to
the
you,
convention
Mr. Peters, Mr. Peters, please, let's pause for a minute.
Yes.
You can have 10 different accounts in one bank. They all will have different numbers. They won't have the same number. The routing number will be the same, but the account number will be different. It has to be different. I don't know what to do in Liberia, but this is why I do know. The account we're talking about, that the vice president deposited $35,190 in. The balance of that account is $1,000 some change. Are we missing something, Mr. Peters?
No, I think that's a wrong statement he brought. The treasurer of the party, Mr. Cooper, can bring that bank balance to you by tomorrow, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. But Mr. Director,
he should escape this issue.
Mr. Director,
you asking a simple question. No, don't delay us
listen,
here.
Loma, listen to me. You try.
If you check in a bank,
let me tell you one thing.
You will not see there will be a bank balance of all the collective account of the party for less than $1,200.
That's not true.
You guys have lost the party of this.
That is not true.
But the records are here.
You know, I want us to deal with a specific issue at a given time. Because Lomar, because he had done wrong, he trying to bring the bank issue to overshadow the wrong he did.
Evidence.
The wrong he did. The issue we have come here was to defend what was done on Friday. Have nothing to do with issue of money.
No,
I want us, Lomas.
Oh wow! Mr. Peter, where are you, Mr. Peters? Mr. Peters.
But you more
Mr. Peters.
Because your
Mr. Peters.
not refined.
But Mr. Peter, this is a political party. The VP promised to put 90,000. She gave you guys 35. 90% of 100,000 is 90,000.
Wait, was 100,000? Oh, okay.
It was 100,000.
Okay, 100,000. Correct.
She promised to give you 90,000. So it was agreed upon that okay, you will give us 90,000, but instead she gave you guys 35,000 and change. October 3rd. Today is the 10th. Your convention was when? On a Saturday, right? And Saturday, I think it was the 7th. Saturday was the 8th.
Friday was
the 7th.
Friday.
So from the 3rd to the 7th, 35,000 went. And so we shouldn't talk about the money.
No, listen now. What I'm trying to say, listen to me. I want us to be specific in dealing with those issues. The issue at bad now that caused the life of human being was this convention. I'm prepared to come in studio with the treasurer, who is the chief debossing officer of the party, to make to present Loma wrong. But what he's trying to do is to divorce it because he had no issues. He had no issue. He just presented literature aspect of the convention issue. I'm presenting facts inconsistent with our constitution. So because he cannot present the issue,
right. We'll give you time.
So the finance guy will discuss the finance issue.
Yeah, we'll give you time. You'll come up with the treasurer. Mr. Lomax, let me ask a question, Mr. Lomax. Maybe let me go to Peter because Ben have already asked you. Is it true, Mr. Peters, that our vice president, Madam Joel Howard Taylor, is it true that she paid county chair $600?
Oh, yes. While we were in the convention hall, she was in the mayoral office. Those county chairpersons, she gave each of them $600, the value of 90,000. They are prepared to attest to the fact that they was induced. Chief Allen is one of the living witnesses. When they came from there, after they got the money, it was clear that the vice president said that we should go against the leadership. She gave us 90,000. In fact, the people she perceived, those oppositions she put together and put T-shirt on them that she perceived to be partisan. Can you imagine that a Golden Key Hotel, there where she hosted the people, she was hunting the people from places to places. A Royal Hotel. What kind of democratic process is that? That you have to be hosting a convention, delegate somebody from River G, you place in the Royal Grand Hotel, you place in the Golden Key Hotel. What democratic process you want to do?
Let me
in the evening of that, she have a tape recorder. She purchased the ID card machine. One of her own person have to send a recording to us. She purchased an ID card machine and said, look, no what happened, the people that come, we know that they are not MPP parties. But let's get a backdated ID card from 2014 to 2015. You know what they did? They photocopied Jim Barney's signature and put it there. And the mistake was the national chairman cannot sign ID card, only the secretary general of the party. That's how we detected that on the basis of recording. So the standard bearer induced those partisans and those people she perceived to be partisan for the purpose of causing confusion.
Say the journal. Do you have any proof that she gave them 600?
Oh yes.
Well, where is the proof?
Do you have counted leaders? Do you have counted chairs who can say? Do we have counted chairs who can testify?
Do you have anyone?
$600 from her?
Yes, I got county chairperson that can testify.
Can you call? Can you give the phone number for us to call them?
Some of the county chairperson refused that money.
Who? How many? How many county chairperson refused? How many?
I think five person.
5 of them.
So Mr. Peters, I know Kev and Dr. Peabody want Mr. Peters. Can you give us one, Mr. Peters?
Some of them are just ordinary convention. Somebody's being hosted.
But you want to say Royal Hotel?
Mr. Peters, can you give us one phone number to call tonight to confirm that the vice president gave that individual $600?
Let the vice president challenge that in terms of no, let the vice president challenge that she did not.
No, but you making the accusation. You making the accusation, right?
I want the vice president. I want the vice president to refuse that this is not true. I'll bring county chairperson here that received that money.
The
manner and form.
Andrew,
but Loma, that you're narrating. I want to cite constitutional reminder that gave you power to clean the position you are cleaning.
The administrators are looking at this bench statement.
I mean, I can't discuss bench statement. I'm not a treasurer. I can't discuss administrative issues.
No.
I'm not a treasurer.
First thing, let's talk about financial property.
I am not the treasurer of the party.
Ben, get a chance.
I did not come here. The treasurer of the party constitutionally is on obligation. I have not come here to discuss what happened to Ben.
Very dishonest individual, and we are giving the proof.
Your dishonest in the country is known. So I don't know how to talk it.
All he's going to do
but you are deviating from the issue. Let's discuss the issue.
Is not to listen.
Who authorized you to conduct convention?
No, I have told you I have told you that I'm speaking for evidence, from facts. The facts are here. I have presented this bank statement where you are seeing withdrawing money in an unorthodox manner. Why don't you speak to
We
this?
spend money in the account legally. We want an audit.
So
we
you see
spend
now
money.
why?
Let me tell you, I don't want to behave. I don't want to behave. I don't want to behave like the opposition. Some of the opposition will say we are government corrupt. But if the government is corrupt, then you don't pay your taxes.
No, that
because the government corrupt.
I mean, why
so because you assume, which is not a fact, that the leadership corrupt. So the money,
you know, the guys,
the
they
money
were voted out. The convention is high.
Mr. Peter, who in the party not paying the dues?
But Loma, that here, you're not even paying dues.
Look at that. Go on I think you saw. In fact, I pay some money. If you look on this account, what I paid, the way I took that money or in it, and when I get put one line there for Loma's due. That's what it is. You guys have been so dishonest.
How the party functions?
They have been very, very dishonest.
You think how the party functions? You think how the party functions?
The delegates
we gave you. I said, Loma, let me add it to her. Let me add it to her.
Man, give it small light.
Let me add it to her. So what's the way forward? What's the way forward for the party? What's the way forward?
But we have conducted, let me tell you one thing. The Supreme Court ruling is the law. And that's why I'm going to leave a copy here. The Supreme Court ruled that Chairman Bani is the legitimate chairman of the party and should take the party to convention. That ruling,
we are going beyond that.
That ruling is what we affected. We have made our report to the National Elections Commission, to the court. Emmanuel Loma and his legs have no authority to conduct any convention. If they think that we went wrong, they should have gone to the court, which we did not do.
Okay, way forward.
So you cannot come here and
so what are your next steps,
Mr. NPP? Let me provide. Because you are listening, are impersonating as a grievance as an election commission chairperson.
Okay, so I agree with that.
I agree with that. I'm going to provide information that you acted illegally. You acted illegally. You have no authority. We were under the instruction of the
Mr. Peters,
who you implemented.
Mr. Peters, given that, let me ask you. Then I will ask Mr. Lomax here. Given what you just said, what will you and Chairman Barney do? What's your next step? What's the way forward? What is your next action? Are you going to be submitting to NEC your because I understand you guys held an election also. So what are you doing right now? What is your next step?
No, we held the election. There cannot be two elections in one convention. Okay. Emmanuel Loma is acting otherwise. We were given a mandate. He was not given a mandate. We conducted an election. We have notified the National Elections Commission. We have notified the court, the Supreme Court, and lower court. But let me tell you one thing. One of the mistakes that Loma is making, he failed to realize. Assuming without admitting that what he's saying should be considered. Is he to recommend the leadership to Elections Commission if that convention was held? And Barney did not win, let's assume. It is that leadership. We informed the National Elections Commission and the court that we held an election, and these are the officers elected. The officer elected at that time cannot recommend herself.
I see.
Cannot submit the name. How will you?
How will you struggling? Yeah.
Was there any representative from the national election? I know NEC sends representative to conventions. Were there any representation from the National Elections Commission at the Painesville Town Hall, at the Painesville City Hall?
Well, because of the chaos that they imported, so it's difficult at this point in time to see, because I know a lot of folks, given my interaction with the guys from NEC, I know a lot of folks, but there have been some changes. So it is possible. I cannot say, yes, I saw it because of the chaos, as I said, that they imported it. But the point I wanted to make here, you asked for the way forward. Well, and just briefly, we went to Accra. When you look at the Constitution, you hold it sacrosanct. We had to do a lot of things to bring peace in this country. Interestingly, I was on the Accra Peace Talk, and I think he was somewhere in rehearsals. But the point there is we had to compromise certain portion of the Constitution. They do see proportional representation in our Constitution for the selection and election of senators and representatives, those were things that would bend over backwards, and the peacemakers, interestingly, I'm school in global politics. So I have a clearer understanding of this. So we bend over backwards in Accra to ensure that we have peace today. With regards to the way forward, what Peter doesn't understand, he takes this constitution every time. In fact, we laugh at him, the constitutionalist. According to article this time, according to this time, he felt in this, these are not normal times for a court to tell us, to give us a mandate, go and conduct elections in 45 days. These things are not normal. You agree with me? They are not normal. So on the basis of that, there are a lot of reasoning that come into it. One of the major issues, as I conclude on this matter, was that the delegates from across the country lost total confidence in this leadership because of the very financial impropriety I'm talking about. I just want lack of leadership. So they've taken a decision.
We weren't,
The
Mr.
fact
Lomax,
that
all
they're
the
taking that
time.
decision.
Maybe Mr. Lomax, we all the time want to say
Can
thank you,
Mr.
but
Peters answer if they had neck representation? I want to know if he's, because
Mr. Peters.
Oh yeah, sure. Neck representation. They were there. They were in the hall.
When you guys,
outside with Lomax.
when you held the election, neck was there.
Oh yeah, fully represented.
Okay.
All right.
Because
So,
no matter
Mr.
all
Peters,
of the requirements.
So, Mr. Peters, let's be very serious for a minute and help our folks understand.
Mm-hmm.
Who is the chairman now for VP Taylor? Who's our acting chairman? Or who's the chairman that was elected? Who? What's the person name?
I don't even know what are the hell elections, so I can't determine who was the chairman, because for the fact that we presided over that convention, there was no one person.
Mr. Lomax, Mr. Lomax,
yeah,
the chairman
yeah.
that will represent VP Taylor. What's the name of the chairman?
Let me correct it. It's not VP Taylor. When the convention delegate converged, they are the highest decision making. Ben Sambi will tell you, he will speak to that because he knows.
So what's the name? What's the name of the chairman?
So let me correct you. It's not a matter of the VP side. We got no side over there.
So what's the name? What's the name of the chairman?
The guy that is now the chairman of the National People's Party is Councillor Stanley McLean.
Sam, let me say something, and you guys understand that you don't want to go back to the Liberty Party, the way in which they behave. That you got Yombly Liberty Party, Musability Liberty Party. I don't think that's what you guys want to do. The reason why I asked whether you have a convention committee is because where the committee sit, I believe National Election Commission recognized that committee, and National Election Commission want to go by the book. The VP, whether she was outside and Jimmy, he was in with his group, constitutionally, like Chief Allen said, one group is totally wrong. We can go up and down and dance and sing this song, but guess what happened? You know what? Somebody died. A faithful partisan died on that day. And the Liberian people will blame both the VP and the chairman, Jimmy. If you can take this to the founding father, Charles Taylor, I think he would blame both the VP and Jimmy. Look what happened. Somebody died at a convention center. Everybody wondered, well, we listened to Chief Cyril Allen. Why are we here? Why are we fussing about the money, about trust, about who would be stand-up bearer and who would be chairman? I don't think that's what you want the young people to follow, Mr. Peters and Mr. Lomax. On behalf of the network, we appreciate your time on the show. But I would like to show you some of the video. We understand the VP is coming on Wednesday. She will speak on this issue. She's not only the stand-up bearer, but she's the VP of the Republic of Liberia. And she will hold that to explain to Liberians. And because of her and through her, we believe that NPP should be united. Then ask the question, what's the way forward? Talk about the 35,000 and the 1,000 of change in the account. Talk about, I have my convention outside, you have your convention inside. But see what happened on that day.
I'm concerned if 2/3 of the delegates take a decision. What the court said is 2/3.
We got so many clips that we can show, but again, we'll be putting fuel on the fire. Somebody died, man. Somebody, your friend, your brother, he died. And what we all seeing as Liberian around the world and in Liberia, this will be another unity. This will be another Liberty Party. That you'll go to the Supreme Court over and over and over again. Is that what you want, Mr. Lomax? Mr. Peters, is that what you want? Can you guys just agree to sit down and patch, like Chief Cyril Allen say, and fix this thing? Who want to go? Who want to stay, and let the NPP remain? We got a tape from Troopy Taylor. I'm not going to play it. I mean, we heard what you said today, Mr. Peters. I mean, we got a recording. We can play the recording. I choose not to do it, though. So we'll just leave this and hope that when the VP speak on Wednesday, that you guys can just at least go in the closet, listen to some wise counsel, and help NPP to be a better party. This is just all we have to say. Mr. Peters, thank you very much for accepting our invitation. Mr. Lomax, thank you. And we believe the ears that are hearing us tonight will help ease the tension in NPP, or else this thing will go as far as the Supreme Court and nobody will win. The VP is a decent woman, a mother, she's a leader. Likewise, the chairman, Jimmy, he is. I hope you guys you have the ear of Jimmy, Mr. Peters. Mr. Lomax, you have the ears of the VP. I hope you guys can talk about peace and unity for the party to remain strong. It's always good to have you on Spoon Talk. We look forward to having you guys again. Have a blessful evening. Good night.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Yep. Chairman Ben.
Yeah.
I just felt the need that I just don't want another Liberty Party, man.
Well,
I may say that out of respect to Yombly and Musa.
Yeah, Musa, I see Musa
I know I've seen it, but you know what though? We just can sit here again and go back over and over, National Election Commission, Supreme Court, come back again and say no. This have cost you a lot, Chairman. This have cost you a lot. You have a lot of folks say, I don't like Ben. You have created enemies and friends. Come on, 2023 is around the corner. I think we can do better.
I have one solace, is that after the elections, after what I like to call the silly season, everybody will come back and everything will calm down. Because but I will say this, and everybody knows it's not a secret, my relationship to the vice president. They're gonna. I want to believe they will work this thing out. I want to believe that she, as a leader, as the vice president, and as standard bearer of the MPP, I believe they will work this thing out. They will find a way around it. I think the thing about MPP and knowing them, contrary to what people think, I've never been a member of MPP. I have, because I was
by extension.
Well, yeah, by extension, you can say that, right? But let me say this. Like Cyril Ali said yesterday, it is a very, 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 very difficult party to govern. Very difficult party because of how they were molded, right? So I believe they will figure it out. I think there's going to be some rough patches here and there. But also, what is going to be important is what role the CDC, the coalition, is going to play in this. Right? Remember, Vice President Joe Howard Taylor is the vice standard bearer of the CDC.
Let me ask you a question, Ben, and we're bringing Kev Blood, Daha reaction, but I'd like to hear from Kev though.
Yes.
And I asked a question yesterday. Do you think that President Weah should intervene? One, two. Do you think that it will be helpful for the sake of CDC, the bigger CDC, that Joe just solve this thing?
I think so. And let me tell you what I believe. I believe that there have been the outreach has started. I believe so. I believe they will start. The needle has started to move. They will figure it out. I believe so. That's my opinion, right? And I think they don't want the distraction. I don't think the CDC wants the distraction. I don't think the Congress wants the distraction or the LPDP wants the distraction. And I think President Weah, you got to also understand something though. President Weah, Vice President Taylor is President Weah's running mate. So in essence, I believe he's going to support her. He's going to stand by her side. As he stands by her side, though, he will also have to play a fatherly figure role because the other folks who are in this contest is also a member of the coalition also. So I think that will be a delicate dance.
So then when you say Kev, should he take a side?
Listen, what I believe that the president will do, the president believe that, Madam Joy Howard Taylor will solve this issue. And he also believed that the NPP will solve this issue. And the president believed that it's a normal here and there, shake and bake between political party. But they also believe that Joy Howard Taylor will solve it.
We'll fix it. Yeah.
Will fix it. And he also believed that the NPP willing to fix it.
Do you think that to Peabody, your question brought a little shakeup? Your one question you asked two, but the first one. Do you think it's true that folks within Liberty Party, this group right now, trying to cross carpet?
You mean MPP, not Liberty Party?
NPP, sorry. I like Liberty Party because of Musability. Trying to stop testing. And do you think that the NPP folks within NPP trying to cross carpet to ANC?
For being, it's no doubt. I want to believe there. Maybe
you believe it? Okay.
Who have not?
Oh, you remember what Louise Brown said on the show?
Some just don't. We probably look at the last year. I mean, don't forget that in the past, there were some people from the NPP that was very aggrieved that they did not have the opportunity to get job in the government. They didn't pick them, and they believe they should have been given equal slot and stuff like that. So you have people like that who are safe. But I think it'll be very important. The last question you asked, Kev, I think it'll be important that if the president can get involved in this and trying to bring them together, Vice President Joy Howard Taylor, because we know she's a leader, she's a great person, very good woman, and stuff like that. But it's shameful when they sit here and talk back to each other who stole money, who joining, who doing this. They have put the whole party, the Liberian Post said, the butt in the street, and which is very sad. We're seeing another breakaway group again, another breakaway party, and bring a major division. Now, who do you lead if you can't even put your own act together? Who you can lead? What are the people that you are trying to lead? So I really hope that they can put this together. I mean, as soon as possible before it spill out there too bad. You really want to.
Dr. Peabody, I don't think the president, George Weah, should step in at this time. I think he should trust Madam Taylor. She's the standard bearer. She's the leader of the party. She's the vice president. I think she can do it. I think she would do it. I think it is up to her to make sure that the peace is restored in NPP. Jimmy can be Jimmy. Peters, okay, most of them, they are mad at something. You didn't give us the 90,000, you gave her 35G. You didn't trust us with the money. Those things you, like Chief Allen said, go in the room, sit down, discuss it. Ben, you're right. When we
And
start knowing about NPFL, NPP, we thought that NPP was all crazy folks that would just argue all day. But the more you see them drinking beer, you see them chilling the more. And when we're growing up in Liberia, that's how I thought about NPP. These guys there will argue, you see them fighting, but they go back in the corner and solve the problem. And we believe that this will happen under the leadership of Jua Howard Taylor. If and only if she doesn't, then I think we can question her leadership. But right now, there's still hope. There's still place that she need to talk to folks. What say you, Ben?
Yeah, listen, any leader should be able to reach across the aisle and speak with folks. Remember, these people are her partisans, whether they are aggrieved right now, yes or no. But again, like I said, I think this is not, I think the problem has this is just the first time it has gotten to this boiling point. But they've always been these simmering of issues when it comes to when it comes to some of these things within the MPP. But I do know at the end of the day, let's see what happened. We are in a political season, right? And so we wait and see how it's going to play itself out. Because again, like I said, there is a larger picture here. Remember, they have their convention, the coalitions nominating convention is in December also. And from all intended purpose, holding everything constant, we believe that President Weah will also be picking the vice president again as his running mate. So all of these things, I think, are factors. You heard Andrew Peters run straight to make it very clear that they are supporting the coalition. So for me, I think that is the benefit. So you raised the issue of Liberty Party. That's the difference between this situation and the LP situation. The LP situation, you had a situation where there were two, because of the CPP, because of the boycott and the Cummings thing. That's one of the things that continuously played a role in the friction. In this case, you hear they're saying that, you know what, we are unbending in our approach, in our support towards the Weah's re-election bid. So that is something that probably may be a soft landing for them as they engage. But like you rightly said, I don't want us to lose focus on the fact that someone did lose his life, and we do want to send our heartfelt condolences to his family. And again, like I said, it's always unfortunate when someone dies, but I think it was an unfortunate situation, and we want to send our condolences to his family to say that I don't think that was what I don't think he got up in the morning to go to his convention knowing that he was not going to be going back home to his family. So I think even just in the memory of that person, they owe it to them.
Need to come together, man.
They owe it to themselves to find a way forward. And more than likely, I think they will. I think they will. I think they have too much to lose. And in the end, the nerves.
So let's just maybe a little bit. My brother Hassan, let's just move a little bit. Do you think seriously there are operators in NPP from ANC trying to win folks over? Do you believe that these guys will move?
Well, remember Louis Brown, part of
MPP.
NPFL, NPP, part of NPFL, MPP.
Oh, my man, part of MPP, MPFL story.
And then he's
the bad dude. We said NPP, but you're going back to NPFL.
So CDC part of MPFL?
Let me ask you the question over. I beg you. I want to
see the way he like that. They know what he doing. You see the way he like that. You know, part of MPFL.
Yeah, let me ask you a question. Do you think?
Not bad.
Louis Brown took up Macintosh. Donald Che, they all part of what? NPP or NPFL? Kev, you can drive me crazy sometimes.
The thing is, MPP is a part of us. We they're saying some of those guys where they were, uh, where they were before they get into MPP. And there are a lot of people who part of MPP were never part of the war, but we do have people like Louis Brown, then Che, and all those guys, and they play their part. But Louis Brown said on our show here that he is in high talk with people in high places at the NPP. He said that on the show. So it left with the Bani side them to come out and dismiss what the allegation on them. I think they should come out. I think they should speak, and I believe they will speak on it and dismiss that. But in politics, that's the reality of politics. We should not be naive here and in that thing that one can jump into another political party to fish in another person. It's politics it is legal. It's a legal path, so it's not illegal. So if they're doing it in NPP, it's big time politics. So it can happen. So we'll not be naive here and say, "Oh no, it will never happen." It could happen. Yes, because they know themselves, So it could happen, but it left with the side that the accused should come out and clarify this thing, and I believe they should clarify it because it's a big statement.
And I think that's what Peabody.
Also, let me say that I would hope that some investigation will be done on the death of that the man that passed as to what really happened. I think it's a very, very, like we all have said, it's a very, very unfortunate situation that when we gather and even in our disagreement, we can't do it peacefully. It had to end up into somebody getting hurt or something happening. So I hope that death will really be taken serious. Some investigation be held as to how he got to that point, or how did he die. It's really sad, but I hope they can come together because it's just sad. The Liberians don't want to see their leaders can agree, continuously disagree, continually throwing each other under the bus and continue fighting. I don't think Liberia want to see a leadership like that. And the voters will not be careful, but actually the voters were disappointed by what they saw in Banga and what they saw at the convention. I think breaking chairs. I watched part of the tape and saw them throwing chairs and stuff like that. I think the Liberian disappointed. How can you lead when you can't even lead yourself or can't even control yourself? I think it's shameful. I hope they come together in the interest of peace and also for the man that died, like Ben said, but it's really, it was disappointing to see all that occur.
Yeah, we announced it yesterday about this federal death, and I think they say he had a heart situation. He went through his sickness. Chief Cyril Allen, we spoke about it yesterday on the show. But we wish his family well. We pray that God can strengthen them. We want to announce that on Wednesday, by God's grace, we will have VP Jua Howard Taylor as our guest on Wednesday. We also like to announce that our brother Santuman and George is not too well. We wish him well. Hope he can join us tomorrow. If you know the chief, the Saint, Tuman and George. People, why are you laughing? Oh, you see,
you don't want comment on you talking with the sins.
Well, why are you laughing? The man went on the weekend and he got sick.
I wish his speedy recovery, man. I didn't see him on the weekend though. I was home.
No, because I'm giving the man. He sent me a message and he said. He said.
No, you said it's sins. I just laughing because the way we call him.
Oh, when the sin go marching in, so he said he's not well.
Wow.
We pray that he stay home and he won't get sick. Once he doesn't stay home, he will get sick. We want to also announce that what you been? Chairman Ben went in the back. But let's announce Peabody, the red ship at the port, Dr. Body. The red ship at the port, 23,000 metric ton, 920,000 bags.
Good news.
Kent Star is at the port.
Good news.
Yeah, that's what it says. It says good news.
Good news. That's
going to have something to eat.
That's good news. I mean, nobody want to struggle for rice and people fighting, and so we that's good news. We thank all those involved, the government and everybody involved, the importers, for making this possible. That's good news for the Liberian people.
But let me say something. Put that ship back. Put the picture back up, please. Did the ship say Kent Star Monrovia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know a lot of ship carry the Liberian.
No, but it's written on the Monrovia that to Peabody.
Oh yeah.
Once you are registered with the Liberian Maritime Program, you do put Monrovia. So that's the address.
Okay.
The address is all of the ships that are registered on our program have addresses, have PO box addresses out of Monrovia.
So this ship got 920,000.
You can see the Liberian flag on it.
Yeah, 920,000 bags of rice on the ship. So at least the tension about no rice in town, the ship was brought in by SWAT, and I think that it's a good way to go, folks.
Good news.
We hope the rice remain and stay 1350. That's the way it is, guys. The ship is there. The ship is at the port at the Peabody.
Great news. We thank God for that. At least our people will.
Are we going to the phone lines or?
No, wrapping up, man.
Oh, wrapping up. Okay.
People will get food to eat. This is good news. So
the ship is at the port. Rest has come. Tomorrow we'll talk more about this ship and the people who call in. But this. I mean,
I hope action can be taken
at the port. I saw a picture of the Minister of Commerce at the port.
When?
Today, I saw a picture. I saw it on the Alaska page. Was that all right, Cap?
But listen, I know she was there because my guys were there. But let me say this: the ship was coming, so she would be there.
Oh, okay.
Well, there was no ship; she couldn't be there.
Sorry, I forgot. I didn't.
It's just coming. Mawani, when I go to the port where it's empty, Mawani knew the manifest that we received. We understand where the food came from. But I tired beating on Mawani, so I think she did something. The country got food for a while, so let's just wait and see.
So how long does this was supposed to carry us? 900 plus thousand bags. How much?
920,000. 23,000 metric ton.
So do we have an average of?
Yeah, but more rice coming.
No, I'm just asking for this one. I know more's coming. I'm just saying this is just an educated question.
More rice.
So you expect another vessel between the 23rd and 26th of this month. All right. So this actually, if the guys don't take it to Sierra Leone and Guinea
and to sell it,
let me ask: Do we know if the government has anything in place to kind of stop that? If people will take the rice and take it across the border, is there anything, or is it maybe the border will be alerted, just to be looking out?
Call Donald Trump; he will build a wall.
Call Donald Trump. Ask a serious question here, man. Wait.
I don't think we will have a repeat of this.
Let me say something.
I don't want you to make flower. I'm not asking my questions.
I'm not making flower, Chairman. I'm just trying to set this thing right. When the issue here is that it will still happen.
You mean what? The prices
left from Liberia when there was no rice in the country. They went to Sierra Leone to get rice, and they brought it back in the country. It will happen. But here's the issue that I believe, and I think we should talk about tomorrow. Our border, the demographic,
it's very porous.
Such a way you cannot control.
Yeah, it's very porous.
Exactly. So you're not going to sit over there and say, the gate going to local tour, this the gate, because I went to the local tour to Ghana. I went to the local tour. They said the gate going to local tour, yes, the gate, right? But you got other areas that the food truck can pass through to go in those countries.
So in essence, there's really nothing we can do to stop this.
President, we ain't get jack to do. But make sure that the people bring in more rice.
Let me tell you what I think. I want to believe, first of all, I don't think, I hear people say, oh, we should raise the price of rice. First of all, I don't think the government's going to do that. Listen,
Raise the price of rice?
Yeah, people are saying, there are people who say that the government should add $2 on the rice, right? Because
Chairman, did you hear that from any sedition?
No, I've heard that from.
They were all opposition.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because
they know if the government raised the price, Costa was on the show.
Exactly.
If the government raised the price on the rice, give Costa 2 days. He will be on his show in the morning and tell the government, say the government lied to the people. The government cannot raise the price of the rice. The issue here is that the government should be committed to her promises that was made to the importers, right? If you want to drag this thing, drag it on, but pay the people $2.
But what I think
they agreed, they said give it $2, I will bring rest in the country.
What I think needs to happen is they need to find a way to ease the country, because eventually the subsidy is not sustainable. It's not sustainable. That is a fact. I think they're very aware of that. They may be able to sustain it for the next year, up to the election. They have to find a way to ease their way into the price of rice going $1 or $2 higher, right? And then that money that they're using for subsidy, they need to invest in the agriculture sector.
I think they need to stop it. They need to stop that.
Man, listen, you can cause this thing. I'll try not to put a picture of the woman smiling and become rest of the pool.
Well, you know, she's
listen.
She's gonna be out of the hot seat.
Look, Chairman, I beat on her. I'm happy that they bring the rest of the pool. She's doing what she should have done. Rest is coming to the pool. She can smile. She can smile bigly. That's fine. We do not have to sit on the show to beat on you before you do your job. If she were restrained, now at least they have set her free. She welcomed the ship, and that's a good thing. The Liberian people need to eat. So I'm glad that she's smiling. I'm glad that her pressure going to go down. I'm glad that she's doing what she should have done a long time ago. And we hope we shouldn't get into another rice crisis. So yes, you can see, man, NPA, what is it, terminal? She doing her thing and she's happy.
Yeah.
You know, that's a good thing. I ain't fussing with her sister. That's a good thing. She can smile.
It's a good thing.
I'm not going to fall in your trap tonight, Ben. I know you very well. You know how to lead.
I just said I saw a picture. I know Mawani very well.
I think Mawani, when Mawani heard from Spoon, she did what she should have done a long time ago. And I want to say, Mawani D's, I want to say, continue doing the good work. Do not allow us to be in crisis before you work. I think you have done.
Are you inviting her on the show sometimes?
Are
you going to invite her on the show sometimes?
I'm going to invite her. I'm going to call her. When I called, she was mad. She said she ain't talking to me. But I would still call her, though. She would talk.
So that you, Mawani, were talking about in her speech?
No problem. Mawani can talk. Mawani is our sister now. But man, let's see, man. I ain't get no enemy in Liberia, man. We'll just discuss the issue and we'll move on. She doing
let me tell you, let me give kudos to my brother, Kev. The last couple of weeks have been difficult for Kev. I mean, I have seen Kev, you know, I mean, listen, Kev, I got to give it to you, man. I've seen Kev with all, I mean, there were times I used to watch when I had to work or when I had to take the kids or when you're on the show, I'm sitting there watching it. I would see Kev literally just sit back. Especially you, Stanton, listen to you. Go in. Mariah, go in. Dr. Richardson. People, I mean, literally, I used to sit and just watch Kev sit and just listen and just shake his head. I mean, if I could read his mind, it probably was like, that damn shit better hurry or it comes.
Kev was free for the ship.
You know,
Yeah.
but through it all,
The
he
last
never
time,
worked.
you know what Kev said? See you, I beg you. We shouldn't discuss this again. The ship coming.
I mean, you
I
got to
said,
give
Kev,
it
I
a
know
Kev.
the ship coming, but we
Yeah.
have to discuss it. But guys, listen, it's not about Kev.
Yeah.
It's not about any one individual. It's about the Liberian people. But one thing I'm grateful for, Chairman, the people listen. And they said we would not take to the street.
Oh, yes.
That
And it was very important.
Chairman,
was very important.
listen, I can disagree with Kev and every sedition.
Yeah.
But taking to the street
Yeah.
to protest,
it was not
folks were
necessary.
misleading our people. Listen, I spoke to one Comfort Johnson.
Yeah.
She said, CEO, I'm going to go out. I told her, I said, come to the office. She came to the office. She and her children. The manager met her.
Yeah.
We took care of her. I can say it on the show, I was happy. But to take to the street.
The lady that called, right?
Yeah, she went to the station. We took care of her. But to take to the street, that to Peabody, and protest because we have a shortage in rice.
Yeah.
People was going to use that for their own gain.
I think it was exceptional leadership on your part, because I remember I listened to you.
Can I encourage that, man?
Yeah.
Passionately about that.
It was necessary.
And I think everybody else followed and took the cue.
Yeah.
And let me say this.
I'm grateful to you guys.
And I want to say this, Stanton, because people were arguing, and I think there was a few. I think our sister Mariah had a slight difference of opinion, and this was never about people's right to assemble. This was about the potential for something to happen that you do not have control over.
Yeah.
The people who assemble, it's fine. The government should. People have a right to assemble, but when you, especially going into a charged political season, you remember 1979. What should have been a peaceful assembly, very peaceful. It just took somebody who threw a stone on the store, and somebody started looting the store. When you look, the whole country was up in flames. Until this day, we are still reeling from the effects of 1979. So I thought it was very important.
If anyone, right, want to unseat President George Manawea, beat him at the battle box.
Yeah,
of course. Of course.
If you want to be president of Liberia, man, we're tired with that nonsense.
Yeah.
Let's demonstrate it's our right.
Yeah.
Let's run to every store corners in Waterside. No schools. No. Educate our young men and women to vote.
Right.
Tell them to live a better life. If you do not agree with the current situation, vote.
Yes.
That's your right. Vote.
Because election have consequences.
Yes,
exactly.
Yeah.
If you vote for Chairman Ben, if you will eat your 45,000, he will eat it.
Yeah.
If you will come back and listen, if you vote for me, I will eat your money. I will eat your money.
Yeah.
Because you voted for me. But if I should do good because of your vote, you will vote for me again.
Yeah.
If you think that CDC government is not living up to your expectation, up to what you voted for, remove them.
Yeah.
If you think that CDC government is in a position to deliver for you, keep them.
Yeah.
But like Ben said, election have consequences, and you will live with it for 6 years or for 9 years. But don't go on the street.
That's why I think we need to
go on the street and demonstrate.
Senator, one of the things that I thought we should do, and I will discuss this in the back, but I think we can talk about it briefly before we sign out. We need to do probably do another show, or maybe do one show a week that just talk about, educating our people on certain things, right? Talking about reducing the tenure of election, because that's part of the frustration, right?
Yeah.
I know it was on the last referendum. I know it became a little controversial, but reducing the tenure of one senator in office was 9 years. The senator getting Prince Johnson, when he finished his second term, that's a baby being born and becoming an adult.
27
yeah.
20 years straight for 2 terms.
And
That's
if I go for the third term, and
then
I
he goes
for the other.
up.
But Chairman, you're right. But you know who should do this, though? It should be the president, the initiative. Remember, President, where I tried to do it? People said he was preparing himself for third term.
Yeah.
Let me say this to you. The very folks that said, I'm not here to defend President Weah, though. I spoke to someone yesterday. The person said, I would say to you, people look at President Weah and say, you know what, maybe this guy, he's not smart. But this guy is smart in a way that when he take an action and you give him chance and process it, it helped the nation.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is smarter in their own way. President Weah will not be the one who will beat on you and say, why you can speak, why you can do X, Y, and Z. But he got rid of spinning things around. He put up the proposition. You remember the proposition?
Yeah.
What was the term limit for the lawmakers and that of the president?
Well, it was dropped.
The very people that said no,
yeah,
they are enjoying the 9 years and the 6 years because they said the president wanted to go for third term. Believe it or not, it would take only the president to enforce these things.
Well, and I think we
educate the people.
And I think we need to push
that. Do you think the lawmakers then want to get all of that after 4 years for representative, 6 years for senator? No. Do you think another person will come and say, yeah, give me 4 years?
You know what the people did in Senegal? The people abolished their lower house and kept the Senate. Because you know what they decided? They said it was a burden on their national purse. That 100, or I think I forgot how many numbers they were, but they abolished their lower house. They abolished their lower house and they kept the Senate because they said they couldn't abolish the entire legislature because you need check and balance on the executive, right? So, as you know, I'm not saying we should do that. I'm just saying we need to start to think very progressively. We cannot just sit down and say, you know, because some of the things we're complaining about, Stanton, is because we don't have the financial space in our national budget. We don't have this financial space in our national budget. We're talking about agriculture, right? How is the government going to invest in agriculture when 60 to almost 60% of the national budget is spent on recurring expenditures, salaries, goods and services? So all of these things, that's why one of the things that Cyril Allen said yesterday, I was listening to, and that's another conversation I think we need to have. But I have some disagreements, slight disagreements with some of the things you were talking about how before somebody become president, they have to do this, they have to do this, they have to do this. But then I also agree with him on something because I was reading when I was watching the comments Stanton, I saw a bunch of people writing, oh, and Weah was in opposition, did he do this? And what I think a lot of folks on my side of the aisle forget is that George Weah was a different beast. He was a different candidate. George Weah, you can't compare George Weah and Alex Cummings or Brumskin because guess what? They are not judged or measured at the same.
Let me interrupt you. Let me interrupt you. Let's be fair to George Weah for a minute. You can hate him, but let's be fair to him. You will say he squandered his opportunity, his money in Europe, in America, whatsoever the case may be. George Weah agreed to be, even sweeper, he was going to be sweeper. He agreed to be senator. He agreed to be VP candidate. He agreed to wait. He agreed to learn the system. He agreed on just to go down and help. You remember, folks, we have picture. They might go to the Kobo shadow eat.
But for disclosure, George was LFA president.
Yeah. They might agree to anything somebody say. Look at Charles Brumskin. He was in the Senate. He did his own legal work in the country. He went up gradually. He said, I want to be a president. He now become a president. May his soul rest in peace. But he was still fighting. George Weah, even Madame Saliv, how many times they didn't beat on her? How many times she never tried? Chairman. But when she got in there, people appreciated the fact that, you know what? She waited, she learned, she appreciated the people, and the people appreciated her. I'm not going to call name, but I'm going to say this. Jose Yima Bwaka, 40 years, LPRC, LPMC, vice president, all through. Then at the end of the day, Chief Allen said, but Mr. Cummings, go serve your people, representative or senator. Mr. Cummings said no. Vice president, Mr. Cummings said no. The only thing I want, make me president. Amen. And Liberian people need to understand this. The only thing I want to help Liberian, make me president.
Well, and let's be.
That's his right to do it, though.
I was gonna say,
But,
let's be fair.
no. I'm not arguing with that. But with the Liberian people not in their own right mind, say yes. That's the only thing we have to give you before you help us. But that's another question.
But Cyril Allen was speaking as an opposition, as a member of the party. So I mean, again, people have different.
I'm not focusing on what Cyril Allen was speaking at Dr. Peabody. I'm telling folks is that the best way to go in Liberia in politics, you should learn and give back to the people. Services.
Let me say something quickly.
Now, I hope I didn't call Dr. Peabody up. I didn't call to your Dr. Peabody.
No, you didn't.
Thank you. Something Steve said that I agree with, and I think many political leaders and people who are aspiring for politics in Liberia should take heed to. Is when he talked about empowering people in your constituencies.
Thank you.
Making heroes in your constituencies. Right? And let me use that analogy somewhere. That I believe is George Weah's strength. That I believe is his strength. George Weah, before he became president, he did it on the other way though. He created Akara's Grade. He literally took these guys and ladies and women who were totally unknown in our political landscape. Pre-2005, nobody knew who was Thomas Fala. Nobody knew who Akara's Grade. Nobody knew some of the people that CDC put on that.
Chairman, I know you speak, but we are not saying because of what they are doing now.
Yeah,
we are saying on the back. What they are doing now, you can hold them accountable for their behavior now.
Yes.
But go back to when George Weah said, you know what? Let me tap into this person.
Listen.
Let me tap into that person.
And he did it. And that was and guess what? He reaped what he sowed. Because you know why? These men and women became icons in their communities. Akara's Grade, before he got elected to the House of Representatives, was a firebrand. When Akara's Grade was Secretary General of the CDC, literally, I remember the campaign Akara's Grade when he beat Rufus Nouvelle. Rufus Nouvelle had this campaign slogan saying he had locked District 8 and took the lock and threw the key in the ocean. And I remember the wave of support that came to Akara's Grade because of his advocacy. And guess what? It was because George Weah took him out of obscurity from nowhere and planted him and gave him this platform. Same thing with Thomas Fala. Thomas Fala was on the playing field. He was selling plank. The woman who became senator, Hannah Brent, and what her name, Joyce Mususumo, the one who died. I think the one who Geraldine Doe, one of them replaced. I forgot who it was, right? Hannah Brent was the one who died. Stand on these women when they won the election. That because 2005 election, CDC, once you on CDC ticket, forget it. The people ain't even wanted to see your face. They were just voting by the logo. There's a famous story that when Hannah Brent when they called Hannah Brent and told Hannah Brent, say, you senator. Hannah Brent couldn't believe it. But again, like I said, so what Cyril, I'm drawing this analogy because Cyril Allen was saying something from the angle of pick up people in your communities and empower them and make them popular with your constituency. And in the end, because like I always say on the show, to win election in Liberia is about influencers. If Stanton Witherspoon is popular in District 3, you get Stanton Witherspoon support. You got your votes that you need in District 3. Because guess what? A whole group of people in District 3 are leaning on Stanton for their survival. That is just the way our politics works. And so
don't put me in that there. I'm not do any of those, man. Don't make the folk can't choke me, man.
I'm just using you as an example. So, but I thought it was, but I think we need to bring Chief Allen back. Because
I'm going to bring him back. I'm going to bring him back.
Yeah, I think he brings a lot of.
I am going to bring him back.
Yeah. Well, you know, some of us been saying this thing for long. about the Cummings, and Chief and Alan said yesterday, and he nailed it. He nailed, what he said yesterday. I hope people out there saying, "Oh no, that's not the way." You cannot. I don't care where in the world, in America, in Japan, or you cannot walk in any country and say, "I want to be president," if you don't come down to the people. Let them know you. Ben, you use a language one time. You say, "What? Pinch the skin, soften the skin," something that you.
Oh, pressing flesh. Press the flesh.
Pressing flesh.
Yeah.
Come down to the people. Do something. Don't press flesh up there in America. Come down to the people. Let them know you. Let the people rub skin with you. Be the guy next door. But no, he went. Mr. Cummings going to another end, try to let the people know I have international connection, and he should remember. It's not strange to the Liberian people about having a president that do has international connection. We had it before. We had Ma Ellen. Ma Ellen do have international connection more than you, Mr. Cummings. More than you. So it's somebody of international connection, not strange to the Liberian people. The first president of Liberia had international connection anyway. So he came from America. So don't sell us, don't give us that. The only time you went to your district, your county, the people have to tour you. You don't do that. But you still believe that you're going to win this election. No, the people don't know you. The people don't know you. Ben, you guys remember what did people what is said about Hillary Clinton? You remember that, Ben? And with Van Jones, that inconvenient truth that he had on CNN. What did people say? The people said in Pennsylvania, they say, "We don't know Hillary. She never came to us." There's a piece that Van Jones did called the
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, in the Rust Belt area.
Yes. You cannot win election, you don't go to the people. But yet still your people believe that you're going to win the election. No, it's too late for you to win election. People don't know you. You get all those guys, people who fail in Bassa, people who humbly beat in Bassa, people who they reject in Bassa. They were rejected in Bassa. So you telling us I do have the Bassa belt, but they rejected them. The people said no. They went for Yombly. So it's something about Mr. Cummings, and when you listen to Siri Allen, he would tell you he went to Liberia. He met Mr. Cummings met Siri Allen. He said that yesterday in 2017. He told him, he said, "Look, go back, go to the people, go to the soil, meet the people." He refused. He said, "I'm too good for those people." That's the message.
So let me.
I'm too good to speak to the people.
So
I'm too good to rub skin with the people. I cannot press flesh with those people. I will press flesh in America. I'm better than them. I cannot be a senator. No, I'm higher than them. He's telling the people, "I'm an elite. You beneath me. I cannot sit there with you. I got to be the president."
So Kev, let me ask you a question. Kev, I get one quick question for Kev. Kev, is it fair to say that Mr. Cummings have shaped up to be your number one competitor?
Listen, somebody told me about a few minutes ago. Somebody high up there. So he said, "Kev, if I put you at the head of CDC, you can beat Mr. Cummings."
Kev, I beg you, man. Something wrong with you, man.
No, seriously. The reason we're saying that, you know, they get it. They say if the Christmas will be fine that the Eve, right? Can anybody here on this platform?
But you seem to be paying a lot of attention to him, though. For someone who you claim have no traction, for someone who you claim cannot make any move in what it name in the Liberian political sphere, you seem to be paying a lot of attention to him. I've never heard you in the last month mention Joseph Boyka's name.
I agree. Reason number one that will pay attention to Mr. Cummings, and I will urge Liberian people to pay attention to Mr. Cummings. Not that Mr. Cummings can win the election, but Mr. Cummings can destabilize our nation by what he's doing. He can destabilize the nation.
How?
That's why we put him.
How is it destabilizing the nation?
Okay, Ben. No disrespect. Some of us old enough to know. Some of us old enough to know the trend. It happened. It's like history repeating in our eyes. It's like the evil of 89, 80s coming back.
Okay. Sorry, let me interrupt.
I think Kev, that's a wrong statement to
let me finish.
Kev, let me interrupt.
Let me come in. I told you that's what I'm saying. Let me come in.
You answer Ben's question.
That's why I said
listen.
it.
You answer Ben's question. And let me say this. Dr. Peabody, please, I will speak. Let me say something. As much as how the politics is going in Liberia, I do not think Mr. Cummings, the decision or his action is to destabilize Liberia. Oh, you can disagree with him, his politics. You can disagree with how he think he want to be president. But I don't think Mr. Cummings is trying to destabilize Liberia. And I think we can talk about his policy. He want to be president, just president, not representative, not senator, not VP. We can argue. We can make that argument. But to point him out and say he wanted to destabilize the country, I would disagree. And I would disagree very strongly. I may not agree with some of the folks around him. I may not agree with some of his decision. But I do not think Mr. Cummings is trying to destabilize Liberia. I totally disagree. Dr. Peabody.
Yeah, let me say this. I think last week when the rice issue was a major concern for the country, Stanton, you came up and said that nobody should protest because we know what that would have led to, what people would have done, and it could have led to the destabilization of the country as well. And we stood up here. We strongly appeal. You started it, and we continue it, and we appeal. And I think that's how we should be talking. I think politics is not a war. If folks disagree with each other, it doesn't mean that we are at war, that somebody's going to destabilize the country. I think that was a very, very strong statement by Kev. I think Kev should take it back, because the conversation was very civil that we were having here tonight. We're talking about leadership and then your people. And one of the things is that I was going to say that George Weah won the election in Liberia because of goodwill. Will you say because he demonstrated strong leadership? I will not. But because of goodwill, when Liberia was at civil war and people were displaced, George Weah spent his personal finances to sponsor Liberian national team in different countries to play games. Where the government could not come in at a certain time, George Weah stepped in, even in the midst of civil war, to promote the country image out there. And how you saw him winning the I don't know how you call that.
The hearts and minds of the Liberian people.
Yes, everybody felt it. When you sit out there, I was in Ghana on a refugee, And when even in the midst of war, when I can go to Togo or travel other places and watch my country play because of George Weah initiating that, it rings a bell to my mind. No Liberians will ever forget that because of his goodwill to Liberian people, his ability to promote the Liberian flag in the midst of war led him to winning the ESPN award and all of that. So I think he won it based on goodwill. He was very generous. He helped a lot of the countrymen, and I applaud him for that. He was in the middle. There was the only
Dr. Peabody, because of what you say, the people, imagine if you were 10 years old, 1997, 1992. Let's go back to 92. Seeing everything George Weah did. 2005, he ran. 2011, the people paid what was done to President Weah. It was the thank you.
Yes.
It was the thank you.
I agree. 100%.
And that's why I kept saying.
And I think that's what President Weah have.
Yes.
And that's why I kept saying, Stanton, that those who try to equate.
Yeah.
I see a lot of folks who try to equate. They say, "Oh, did Weah do that thing you're trying to get Cummings or Boyka or them to do? Did he do it when he was in opposition?" No, he was a different person. Yeah. They got candidates that come along that are totally they're so way out there, right? Sometimes they come, like you said, Dr. Peabody, goodwill, like President Weah, Barack Obama, inspiration, right? Moment, seizing the moment. But and Bush went to war. He came in at the right time against such an experienced candidate in Hillary Clinton to win the Democratic nomination. Right, so that certain times candidates arrive and they come, once in a while. They don't come up often like that.
Exactly.
Candidates come around, and George Weah, for me, like I always tell people, George Weah was a rain that had to fall.
Yes.
Whether you delay, he was a rain because the Liberian people, a vast majority of the people who voted for him,
so I think
to be president.
And Chairman, let's go back to Kevin. And I think the argument now is, okay, we are here now. We have given it to you, Mr. President. We have tried you, Mr. President.
Yeah.
We have said our
now he has a record.
Now he got a record.
Now he has a record.
Now opposition can use that record against him.
Right.
Yeah.
Now they can say, don't tell me about your football accomplishment.
Right.
Don't tell me about your goodwill. Let's talk about what you have done in the last 5 years, in the last 6 years. That's the argument. But I would not sit on this show. Omen Jose Yuma Boyka, Alexander Benedict Cummings, to say, even you, Taiwan Gonglo, to say those people trying to destabilize the nation because the politics, the policy are different from CDC. I won't say it. I will not accept it, Brother Kev, because I know they all love Liberia and wish Liberia better. It may be different. They fought against corruption. They fought against unsolved killing. They fought against poor health, poor education. They fought against our young men and women are on drugs. All of those things are things that you can argue. And you can defend CDC or the opposition can defend herself. But for us to sit on the show and say the comments, the Bwaka, the Tewon, the Yuri, Mandela Cooper, Mr. Freeman, for us to say they are trying to destabilize Liberia.
And these people, and Kevin, you're coming 1 second. Kev, 1 second, I beg you, you're coming.
Before I forget, I think Mr. Freeman is our guest for tomorrow.
These candidates have justifiable differences with President Weah. Like I said, he has a record now. He can no longer win the election on goodwill. He may get some goodwill because there's still people who just love him. Whatever happened, they still love him. He may get some goodwill. But I think 2023 will be about his record.
And Chairman, let's give Kev the chance because we got to go. But 2023, guess what? Chairman, we're being in Liberia campaigning the last 6 months of the election. We're being Liberia. We will do this because it's Liberia. Chairman, listen, I will be 48 years old next year. We are all getting older.
Yeah,
the next president will be given 6 years. If we sit here and we don't fight for our Liberian people, they will hold us responsible. I have asked my wife to allow me, even for 3 months, let me go to Liberia and let me fight the good fight. Let me announce somebody. Let me campaign for that person in every county. Let me go to the villages out there and look in folks' eyes and say, please, don't give this person another chance, but try this person. Please don't give this person your 6 years, but stick with this person. Let me make that case. And ask Kev, I told Kev I'm going to do it. We're going to go there, guys. Our voices will be heard in Liberia because Liberia deserves better. And now people will say I confuse them. Kev Hassan, take us home.
Okay.
Ben, don't do that.
Let me say this.
Stop texting me, Ben. Don't do that.
Guys, I hope I want to make this clear. I hope nobody interrupt me. Let me make this clear. Let me make this clear. You see, when you just will just come up and say this person love Liberia, this person don't want the country to fall into anarchy and all that. It's by the action. It's by the action. You see what they do, what they say. You know, Stanton Witherspoon, you said on the show, Ben Savage, Dr. Peabody, who more attacked the government like Dr. Peabody, all the guys there, you know, but it said, I don't want no protest that will lead, not protest, not say no to protest, but protest that will take us to 1979. The chief of staff of Mr. Cummings said, no, we want it. That's the people right to go to do it. That's Cummings speaking right there. Mr. Cummings debunked that? No. By the fruit we shall know them. When the fake tape came out and talk about Burkina Faso people training in Grand Jide, he buttressed that. It's to take another tribe against another tribe. We all know what happened during the 80s to the 90s. To buttress such a thing without condemning it, they gave him the opportunity to condemn that tape, which the international community condemned that tape. Mr. Cummings buttressed it. And then you would tell me that this man wants peace. No, he wants stability in this country because he feels that's the way he can win election, a part of his pathway to win. It's by the fruit we shall know them. What you saying? What you doing?
Kev, what were you doing CDC campaign against UP?
What you doing? But I mean, I listen to you now. I listen to you now.
What were you doing CDC campaign against UP?
I listen to you now. Well, you listen to me.
I just asked you a question. Where were you? Doing Aka's greater campaign against UP? The mobile model there, the George Mannon, the Jefferson Koji. What were you, Kev? Not to be frank. You have not seen anything yet. You haven't heard anything yet.
No, I want you to debunk what I'm saying. Okay. CEO, you will not buttress that tape. You will not say, I'm man from Burkina Faso in Grand Jide.
You I don't think that tape alone, you can quantify that tape alone as him wanting to
that was an opportunity for that was opportunity for Mr. Cummings to say,
everybody make a rumor.
Let me say this to you, Kev Hassan. Mr. Cummings, Kev Hassan, Mr. Cummings, no. President George Mannon, it's not there to bring rebel activities in Liberia. Trust me, brother. The surrogate will fly. It's politics.
But he buttresses it.
Kev Hassan, your very CDC brother and sister have said the worst. She will believe that.
But still, I always why can I just have my day of making my case?
I think you should go home.
Why can't I make my case?
The trust of word is not good.
But you see, you make your case of defending that he can do. I'm making my case that when you accuse, if I accuse you, Senator Witherspoon, of joining a warring faction against a certain tribe, I'm inciting people against you, and that's what this man is doing. Is to destabilize.
Kev,
I
do believe. Kev, my internet data finishing. Kev, my internet data finishing.
Look at it. The ASD people calling my phone. But let me say this.
But let me say this to you. Hold on, Kev. Let me say this to you. One thing you should learn: you really care about Mr. Cummings. You do love him, and you will always wish him well. Let me say this to you. Let me say this to you on this show, Kev. Kev, let me say this to you. Tomorrow,
I think he bad for Liberia.
Kev, you can say his policy is bad. You can say you think his leadership would be bad.
He wants to destabilize.
You have nothing to say. He wants to destabilize the nation. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you, Kev. Say what I say. But I can say on this show, and tens of thousands of Liberians that listen to me, Mr. Cummings is not thinking, dreaming to destabilize.
Why is interest?
Why is Mr. Cummings?
Why is that his going to destabilize?
Why is that making the thing?
You have a good night.
I want to say something else different. I want to say something different.
Have a good night.
I want to say something different. I want to say something different.
That doesn't make sense. And say that somebody wants to, that's
why does it benefit Cummings? For you to want something to be destabilized.
Okay, but let me that topic now. Tell me that topic. Friday night, see, I had the pleasure of meeting one of the most fierce tackle.
Oh, you met Barbara?
I met Barbara Friday.
Oh my God!
I met Barbara Friday night.
Yeah, because I saw the pictures and I was wondering. I said, was Kev and Barbara in the same room? I was trying to figure out.
In the same room. What are you talking about?
What I noticed. What
are you talking about in the same room?
I can tell you, Barbara is somebody you want to hang out with. She's fun.
I'm not going to hang out with Barbara because
I'm telling you,
Barbara, yeah, she didn't insult.
I got nothing negative about
Kev bought her a burger, African food.
You know what she said to me? She said, it will be hard for me to go against you now. I said, look.
Really? She just said that?
Yes. Because I said, look, I told her, and it kept that you saw that two different persons.
Oh, wow. That's good that you're able to be.
But she fun. You know, I can tell anybody you're around the
Barbara said a lie. Barbara said that's a lie,
Barbara trying to get her credibility back. She's trying to get
it's true because I spoke to her when Kev was at the house. But I look at Barbara, I said, Kev, what are you doing the white woman? Kev said that Barbara. I said, oh. But seriously,
yeah, we got
into Liberian politics.
But Barbara, that white woman,
she white.
Well, you got a woman, a white woman. How is it?
The woman, a white woman.
That's right. Fair color. Ghana, man, fair color.
Oh man, Kev.
Right.
Yeah. She is, but that is not. The, I don't think it matters.
Barbara, true Liberian woman.
Liberian woman.
Barbara, accent, take the anything you.
The one can be talking all the things that you can know straight. But
anyway, Kev met her and she invited Kev to ANC convention. Kev said, "Hell no."
Well, Barbara
said, "Hell no."
You know, but I can tell anybody if you're in the Maryland area, you know. Germantown, Gettysburg, go to Marketplace.
Yes.
Go to Marketplace. You have
the best food, the best bitter leaf. I mean,
yeah, she can really cook. She cooks some good food.
That's the best bitter leaf.
In the era. Still got to bring rice in the country. They got to make you hungry tonight.
She can cook really good food. I mean, you go to Marketplace. She really can cook.
Yeah, go to Marketplace. I stay eating her food.
You brought her home?
Oh yeah, I stay eating her food.
Kev though. Kev is married, but he
gets. Hey, my man,
no, I don't understand Kev.
All right, the show over.
Kev is
Oh my
married, but
gosh.
another thing.
Barbara said you didn't play to spend that 20K. She said Kev didn't play
You
to.
see,
That's
you
why
see,
she was
you see.
saying.
You
Kev was
see.
not buying.
I remember what happened with Timon and George. You say he went out on the weekend
my
and he
man,
got sick.
All right, man. I'm well, man. Go,
Timon
speed
and
of
George.
recovery, Timothy. Speed of
Timon
recovery.
and George went to Maryland. He came back. He got sick.
I'm gonna do a free promotion here for Maga. Let me read Maga number.
Man, that free promotion. The woman
Hey,
not
man,
paying.
wait a
No,
minute.
the woman not paying.
Maka, go to Marketplace and eat, man. Go there.
Maga number is 240-636-8994. 240-636-8994. Call her. The
Marka.
best. Kev, attends, complete the statement.
You better keep me a special bowl when I come.
Because that's how we come Maryland. We need
That's like blood food. You in the Maryland area, Germantown, down to Marca.
Yes, sir.
If you can call me, anybody can call
We
me.
have a meeting after this, Minnesota.
Yeah, we gotta discuss. And tomorrow we will be hosting Mr. Freeman. Sima Freeman is our guest for tomorrow. I know Rufus, you guys will do the flyer. And on Wednesday we'll get a VP.
Wednesday, yes. I think we're hearing
Joel Taylor.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a very, very interesting conversation. And that's all, folks.
Yes.
We wish you guys well. Again, St. Timon and George, please keep the faith. Get off the phone. Don't talk to Tiola. She's gonna talk to you till you get sick. Let me say something about Tiola on the show. If you know Tiola Gibson, and don't tell her something that you don't want to be out there. Limit what you tell her. She's from ANC, and that's all I gotta say.
Tiola and Stanton. You don't want to, anything you don't want to get public. Don't tell Stanton. He will talk around the radio. Just so you know.
No, Tiola. No, she said, leave my name. She invite everybody to ANC convention. The ANC put and said it. I mean, they're not going.
Where's Mariah?
You know, Tiola living in Maryland. She just stopped on the street. Oh, you know ANC. She stopped asking American people.
She's not going around.
She asking that zero witness.
They asking people. Asking Tiola, you okay? Oh,
so she's not walking around asking people.
You're like, bro, this that what Tiola. She just passing around.
Wait, what are you trying to imply? What are you trying to imply?
You know what? She's doing it because. She's doing it because Timon and George told us to make sure you invite 95% of ANC in the diaspora. Now, yes, the issue. You know, the situation took place in Florida, right? Some of the members are not coming.
Oh,
the global ANC Midwest having issue. Some of them are not coming. So Tiola is a friend. And, you know, and she thinks that the place will be empty. But I believe Tiola, the place is going to be very packed. It will be jam-packed. You know, you will have fun. And I hope you guys will give us invitation. We're going to try to come, but you refuse to give us invitation. So that's okay.
The people send invitation. Don't say that.
Where is it?
I know it's not an invitation.
I didn't see any invitation.
I got a letter from Timothy.
Where is it?
Okay.
I don't know. I think
they get it done.
Yeah, but you know, Timothy when I pass it to us. When did they give it to Timothy?
Kev, why they give it to Timothy?
Exactly.
Tell me, my boy. I want to see I can get it.
Wait. Dr. Peabody. Let me ask you a question. They gave letter to Timon and George.
I think I read a letter in the Spoon chat room. I did.
I have not seen it, baby. Sorry.
Yeah, so George is the one that distributed the.
That was a letter in Spoon chat room. I read it.
But wait, let me ask you a question though.
We were not talking about why you get the face.
No, because
Timon and George is the one moving the flyers. Yes. He's sharing the flyers.
No, that's not true. That is not true. That's not true. Timothy got a letter that he put in the chat room for Spoon for the ANC dinner.
So Tiola and Tommy working together.
Wow.
They're on the same committee.
That's true.
Tiola and Timothy on the same committee.
No. Timothy a citizen. I can do it.
No. Let me ask you something. Have you ever heard Timothy criticizing Mr. Cummings?
Yes, so many not criticized.
Yes, he has.
The only thing Tumani said, Mr. Cummings, can you go out there? I'm not hearing your name. Is that criticism?
No, I'm not going to get into that.
The only thing Tumani was saying, Mr. Cummings, I want to Ghana's where I didn't hear your name.
So
I want to things where I didn't hear your name.
Is that criticism? Are constructive to help Cummings. Is that what you
Exactly.
Everybody.
No. Have you ever seen Tumani bringing somebody like Michael Law that he brought Michael Law for Joe Weah? Then he brought to also
No, stop it.
Have you ever seen that?
We're not going to talk about Tomini.
No.
We will not talk about Tomini why he not here to defend himself.
Something strange happening in Liberia. We went to the courthouse. We went to the courthouse. I was sitting beside Mr. Cummings, right? We went back to the hotel. Tommy started buying me shitao. I'm like, well, why are you buying me shitao?
Because you said by Mr. Cummings.
Yeah, I'm sat beside Mr. Cummings.
I'm going to leave Cummings. Cummings not here. Let leave him alone.
We said that he came out of the show.
I know that.
Somebody will say, trust me. He said, CEO, trust me. This year,
the come for you. Y'all be on it.
I will not be on. I will not be on where you got run.
Listen, he said, trust me, the dark horse is coming. I can tell you right now. CEO, trust me, the dark horse is coming. But listen, Tumani have never criticized Mr. Cummings. Tumani would never criticize Mr. Cummings. We understand. I mean, he liked Mr. Cummings. That's cool. Hey, you know.
I mean, you know we like.
What a bargain, Joe. He can say, look, you have 365 days left before these elections. A lot of things will happen. There will either be a re-elected president we are, or there will be a new president. They can say.
But you know what amazed me? You know what actually funny though? This is what happened. Every message that Tumani will put in the chat room comes either from Tiola or Mariah. Every one of them comes either from Tiola or Mariah. So one day I asked Tumani George, I said, Tumani George, are you the information minister for ANC? He said, oh, man, trust me. I don't know how far this thing going to go 2023. Trust me. I can never tell. I don't know how far you're going to. But Ben, tell the people, man. Tell them.
My man, I beg you, man. I would not put my man under the bus. I would not do that while he's not here.
But that's not to mess with him.
No, he would not do that to me. I would not do it to him. He would not. Hey, you're doing this to me.
Somebody, it's not Timmy's a sedition as far as I know.
He said, listen, there will either be a re-elected president we are, or there will be a new
I'll tell you what, like best not to mess with Timothy. Man say he's sick.
Send me young
Watch. He said he's sick, right, Cap? He will be at the ANC convention this weekend.
Oh, man. That's
I can tell
the ANC people, they get a lot of nuts. They tell a lot of nuts now. They get a lot of nurses there. So
Tiola know how to transport people.
So he said Tiola, they're in the street asking people to come attend the convention.
You know, all living Maryland. I'll just see Tiola passing, telling people, I said that Obama campaign now. You carry people.
No, before we go, you don't know what I mean.
Man, I never trying to get people in trouble. I just know you.
You don't know what I mean. Like what Dara Regis said, they were campaigning Imoria. They can't say that I think I do it. Imoria, he said I. He said, "Oh, there's a Buga on the side of the road."
We should have called that the Richardson name. You saw all the Facebook.
Anyway, let me stop.
We shouldn't call that the Richardson name because that Pape, how you call him Chief Cyril Allen, he's a bad dude. We shouldn't call that the Richardson name. So let that won't go. But guys, I want to say let's have this meeting after. I think tomorrow will come on the call and that Richardson should come on the call. Let's have the meeting and discuss what we're going to do next. Yeah. I want to be grateful to every one of you guys.
She's not ready to chat room. Yeah. She's not ready to chat room. She's
not ready.
She's not coming. She's not ready. We even thought
she's not coming for you.
She's not ready in the chat room. Dara Richardson.
Yeah, but where is it?
In the spoon chat room.
Oh, in the chat. Oh, she in the chat room.
She's not ready already in there. She's threatening already. So let it be.
Oh, okay.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Well,
so, guys, you see, this is why you do. You made me stay on the show now. I can't go out. But I want to say, Chairman Ben Sevi, I know you're going to take another 2 weeks off, but you're always welcome to come back. The only reason you came today because Madam Joel was You are listening, folks. Chairman will be off tomorrow. Then he will come on Wednesday because Madam Joel is coming on Wednesday.
I will be on. Maybe I'm not even be on the show for the VP. Maybe I'm not be on the show for the VP because people expect me to. And people don't know that I'm her harshest. I'm her harshest critic. Eternally, they can't agree with me, and I won't get right.
You can never criticize VP Taylor. That one, Omar, man, she cool. I mean, but what did Omar but why did Omar get a post $600 for Omar? No, she coming Wednesday. But why should we get a put in $600? That's 2,000. Oh, Kev. So you're not with me on this one?
No, Kev, not with you. Kev told me he receives.
Are you with me on the one?
Kev told me he receives specific instruction on the Joel Taylor. He told you already.
But why Omar get it for $6? Say something like that. Play the money on.
Oh my God.
And it was US, right, Ben? US.
Man, let me tell you, I always say this.
Okay, let's go now.
Anyway, that let me go.
I'm
hungry.
Man, listen, guys. Let's say this real quick. Today is the 10th. We got 1 year to go exact to the election. 1 year. October 10th next year will be election. Will be on a Tuesday. We want to say, please keep the faith. Please. If you are sick, take paracetamol, take Tylenol. We're getting down the wire. This thing will be rough, but we encourage you. Encourage your friends, your brothers, your sister, your mother, your father, your children. Tell them to tell somebody. The election is in 1 year.
5 years of George we have been president.
Election is in 1 year. And imagine under this leadership thing, what have George we have done for you and your family?
Shout out
positive and the negative. And you decide who you're
going
to
vote for. Shout out to our people. Shout out to Julie Rambo. I think Julie Rambo texting.
Julie Rambo is on?
Yeah, I think
Julie K. Rambo.
Shout out to Julie.
Want to say thanks you to everyone, man. Y'all have a good night.
Good night,
see you.
Yeah.
See you.
Bye. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. A special one from the CEO, stand coming with the spoon. And your boy, Friday the Southern Band.
In Union Council as a show, we've got above our rights to prove we over prevail. With hearts and hands, our country cause defending. We meet the foe with valor unpretending. Many thanks to the team for that splendid presentation. The invitation is yours to join them on tomorrow, God willing, for another fascinating time of information dissemination. James Good Diploma is on the other end. My name is Rufus Divine Cannon. I lead and auto follow. First among equals. Of course, I'm destined for greatness. Have you and yours a pleasant night. Bye-bye.
Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa.